they'll look and be like, "You motherfuckers, you're recording, aren't you?" Yeah, for like the last 10 minutes.
Here you are trying to struggle to figure out content, and you're doing it.
Yeah.
Live mic, please.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Who needs content? Welcome to Media Rehab. I'm your host, Cameron. I'm sitting here with Matt. We got Rook and Dan. We are just going to be the podcast that teaches you everything you need to know about everything.
Because we know everything.
Well, we try to. We will fight you vehemently to prove our point, though.
Even when we're wrong.
Which is most of the time.
I know I'm wrong and still think that I'm right.
Yeah.
Well, this is our first episode. We're just hanging out, drinking. We're going to talk over a few little things with you. Well, we got our resident British man in the house. Dan, say hey.
Hello.
Just keep talking. The ladies will love it.
Yeah, I know, but I gotta go and get a beer so I can get the courage to talk more.
Okay, go right on ahead.
Yeah, once we were saying, prepare.
That translated in normal English to he's going to get a beer so he can talk.
All right, we got our co-host Matt. Matt, say hey.
Hello, I'm Matt. This is kind of the brainchild of about 6 months of fantasizing, and finally we're getting this off the ground in one really half-assed bundle and just throwing it down the lane and seeing what happens, and that's exactly how I want to do it, just fly by the seat of our pants and really just get some good, raw, real opinion, and just do it under the influence of alcohol.
Yeah, you bet your ass on that one.
Yeah. Copious amounts of alcohol.
Mm-hmm. So, what we're going to do is we're going to end up breaking the show down into a few different segments that you'll learn over time where we talk about different things, whether it be sports, movies, video games, music, comics, you name it, we're going to discuss it. You want to talk gossip, whatever's on Us Weekly, we'll do it. It doesn't really matter. It's something for us to talk about and try to crack semi-funny jokes about.
Well, what the show really kind of emphasizes that you don't have to be a specific type of geek to be a geek. What you do is like, if you like comics, oh, you're a geek. If you like anime, oh, you're a geek. But if you like, craft beer, you're a geek. If you like cooking shows and like to cook a lot, you're a geek. If you like politics, you're a geek. You're a geek for whatever you really dig and what you feel passionate about. And a geek show should be about everything and anything that it can be. I think just subject matter. Don't pigeonhole yourself and get good, interesting guests.
It's time that the word geek gets rounded out and shown as what it really is. A geek is, everybody's a geek about something. Something makes everybody tick. And you can be a geek on any subject out there.
So we are here to redefine the word geek for you. And it's just something that you're passionate about. So here's a couple of things that we're passionate about. We're going to start with a segment called Geektox.
Sometimes you just got to go to Geektox.
Yeah.
I mean, there was this thing that came on a little while ago. We got a PlayStation 4, and so Black Flag has been kind of ever present in our household for like the last few weeks, and the pirate content was the best part of the game. And whenever they gave you the pirate content, it was fantastic. And then Starz all of a sudden pops up this show called Black Sails, and it's supposed to be like a business pirate show. Well, we saw it a couple of days ago, and I believe you just saw it, Rook?
I watched it just earlier today.
What did you think?
Fantastic. Absolutely brilliant cinematography. The actors are incredible. The sets, they really, really did not pull punches. They really threw everything into this that they could.
I especially liked it because it's something, it's in the Game of Thrones vein, but for those of you who don't like the backstabbing and the big floppy wieners that you get on Game of Thrones.
So much floppy wiener.
It's just something completely different, and it's pirates, which don't ever get done in a serious tone. They're always
campy and hokey. Yeah,
everybody's so used to the Johnny Depp Pirates of the Caribbean, or all kinds of goofiness. This is really taking a serious look and is pulling pieces of true history to make a fictional show.
But it's also taking a lot of popular fiction we already know, and even if you can't really pull it out immediately, you know it. You've read it before. You know these characters from somewhere. You've seen them before, but you just can't pick out why. And Cameron brought up a really good point just after watching it, which was
for those of you who don't know, Black Sails is actually a prequel to Robert Louis Stevenson's novel Treasure Island. It involves Captain Flint and Billy Bones.
Flint, I think, isn't it?
No, Flint.
Is exclusively.
Yeah, which to anybody who's ever read the book, you'll pick up on this very, very quickly. Obviously the one character being named John Silver, and then you have Captain Flint, and as soon as somebody mentions Billy Bones, if you haven't picked up on it by the time that they say Billy Bones, well, you obviously haven't read the book.
I think it's very important to mention the best character in the entire show, Blackbeard.
Yes, Blackbeard was pretty awesome. And it definitely shows that the show does belong on Stars, which gave us such classics like Spartacus and Xena's Tits.
Yeah, I don't agree with that either.
Spartacus is such a horrible show.
I know. I was saying it completely sarcastic.
Okay, I just didn't know. I had to say something.
I just like Spartacus because he saw Xena's tits. I mean,
hey.
Come on, we grew up watching Xena Warrior Princess.
That's what Mr. Skin is for.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, man.
No, you need a subscription for that, and I'm a cheap man.
No, you don't. It's called Google, man. You can Google anything. I promise you I can pull it up on my cell phone right now.
You probably could. I've seen your phone. Your phone screws up enough to where
it's pretty obvious that you watch a lot of porn on your phone, okay?
That I could just type in G into your Google search engine, and it would say gay boys, midget, tranny porn.
No, yeah, I can understand how you see that, but it's actually gangbang, Mandingo party, and your mom.
Touche. You know what? I don't know what my mother's into, and
I do. Oh yeah, baby.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, Ma.
But yeah, so back to the course at hand. Black Sails. It's Game of Thrones with pirates.
Yep.
It's fun to watch. It's taken from source material, but unlike Game of Thrones, you're not having to be spoiled by the books that you've read previous.
You know what I really like?
We all know how Treasure Island starts out. We all know how Black Sails is going to end, but it's the adventure of getting there.
Yeah.
You know what I really liked is that there was this scene in there, the final fight. Spoiler alert, by the way, and for future reference, we don't ever give a shit. He has the face-off with the guy challenging for his captainship. And the whole show had been, and you could admit, it was still a little Starsy, where you have that one camera and it's like picks up too much definition on some things and the whole backdrop kind of looks a little weird. But the fight, it was just the perfect amount of violence for that interaction is like what would really happen if these two dudes duked it out. It wouldn't be some swashbuckling affair like a guy would hit the guy in the face with a cannonball. That's what I would do. It's like I could hit you with my fist or I could hit you with this like 12-pound cannonball. But I think what happens is in a lot of shows that the violence is really overblown and it's like really the epicenter and the MacGuffin of the whole show. And this was just the right, perfect. And if you think about it, the scene really wasn't even all that long.
No, it was about 3.5 minutes, and they each traded hits. Clearly, the bigger man got a little bit more damage, but I think that the better part of that show to show
I think he was dead.
The realism.
I think the best part is actually before the fight scene, where the captain's holding up the log and talking about how the page has been stolen out of the book, and you see John Silver kind of step forward and have this oh shit look on his face, but then when he turns around and accuses, you see Silver completely kind of just like,
that's the genius of film.
But here's my thing: nobody notices Silver. Nobody notices the new guy kind of have this oh shit look on his face.
They're pirates. They're probably drunk and riddled with scurvy.
Yeah, I don't think that pirate assistants, deckhands, were very intelligent back in the day. I think that's why they were deckhands instead of captains.
Clearly, there was
the
no
captains
vitamin
were
C.
well read.
Not all. Not all, actually. Captains were actually elected out of the crew. A pirate ship was one of the purest democracies ever known in the history of man.
As soon as you fuck up, you're dead.
Yeah, well, as soon as you fuck up, you're dead. But interestingly enough, pirate captains actually had no power except in battle. Everything was decided by popular vote. Everyone got a fair share, and everyone got a vote. And the only time that a captain had absolute power on a pirate ship is when you were in the heat of battle.
That was the allure of being a pirate. To be a free man, to own a share of a vessel. You fought for that vessel not because you had some slavery debt to a captain. It was because you owned a portion of this vessel, and it was in your best interest to give up your blood and steel for the ship.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys think that the way that pirates and privateers worked back then was really the first seeds of socialism? Because everybody was equal. They all took an equal share of the plunder.
No, but
Everybody made money.
no, everybody worked. Everybody did their fair share.
Everybody
Social
earned the same
I mean
reward.
communism. Everybody was equal. Everybody made the exact same amount for the work they did. Whether they...
No, they've been around for centuries.
No. There were certain contingencies that got you additional pay. A particular wound in battle got you a certain amount of money. An amputation got you X amount of dollars. A gunshot wound got you X amount of dollars. A knife wound got... Granted, you don't want to get these wounds, but you know,
there's incentive in case it does happen.
But as far as the decision-making parts of the ship, where we sail, you know, when we sail, it was all 100% popular vote. It was one of the truest forms of what we consider a democratic society, you know?
Who would have really thought at the end of it that the guy that Captain Flint fought, I forgot his name, that's how irrelevant he really was to the entire episode. I think Flint had a nice little brass pair to figure out that the guy had a rolled up piece of paper in his pocket.
He put it there.
He planted it on him in the fight.
Yeah, right after he knocked him out,
Yeah, he absolutely had to have planted it on him in the fight.
Yeah, actually, there's a scene where he shoves it in there and pulls it out.
Yeah, see, unfortunately, the way I watched it was on YouTube, which, by the way, everybody, you can watch this show completely free on YouTube, but it is heavily edited, of
The
course.
first episode does actually air tonight, January 25th on Stars. You guys are going to hear this afterwards, but they're going to be playing it on video on demand and multiple times throughout the week.
If you haven't watched it yet, clearly you can see by the group analysis that we all thought it was a really good show, and you should definitely give it a shot.
Definitely.
I did read in another review that episode 3 gets kind of hairy. They're going to push an envelope that not a lot of people... I wouldn't say not a lot of people.
It's rape.
Yeah, it's rape. They're gonna publicly rape somebody on the show. I don't know if it's the prostitute or if it's the daughter of the plantation owner.
To predict. It could be some character they introduced that day.
It could be. It could just be anybody.
Hey, for all we know, it could actually be a male character. You
be Long
don't
John
know.
Silver.
It could be Anne Bonny. She was in the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Jack Rackham and Anne Bonny are in the show as well. So for any of you guys out there that know pirate history, you're not just looking at characters out of Treasure Island. You're actually looking at historical figures with Jack Rackham, Anne Bonny,
Calico Jack.
Yep.
Jack Rackham.
Nassau. So they're pulling a lot of historical information and putting it into the show with the fantasy writing overtones. So I think it's a really nice mix of fantasy and reality placed in this book, or in this show, sorry.
See, and it was a great time for it to come around. We're going to bring this right back around to Black Flag. For those of you who don't know, Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I had just played through it for like 2.5 weeks before this show came on. And what it does, it kind of refreshes that Tortuga existed, and
Nassau was a real thing.
and Havana and all that. And then just to see them go from being digitized to being real live sets.
It was amazing to see how similar they looked.
Yeah, it was very cool. Ubisoft and Stars Productions to have a similar vision as to what they looked like, with very limited source material outside of sketches from artists back in the day. I thought it was very excellent that they kind of combined on the exact same thing.
I thought that's what I was saying is that with the Black Flag is that it was just another Assassin's Creed game, but when it went into the pirate format of it, it was such an awesome game. It was so different, and it was so cool to be able to control your own pirate ship. And I've literally spent like 36 hours in this one bay just pirating ships. I haven't left because there's like one shanty song in the bar that I really like.
I'll be honest, I've actually never played any of the Assassin's Creed games. I haven't. I don't know.
It's an excellent series of games. I mean,
because I'm too busy playing Dead Space. I'm still trying to work my way through all 3 Mass Effects. I'm so lost in Mass Effect right now. It's ridiculous.
Good luck with Mass Effect, because you're going to have to pay to get the real ending for that game.
Yeah, well, you know what? These deep, intricate games like this really appeal to me. Like, I just started Infamous 2 today. Yeah, a couple years late.
Oh, really? A couple years too late on Infamous 2?
A couple years late. Hey, why not? But I'm also a cheap bastard. I don't buy
He was
games
trying to
at
plug me for
$60.
information earlier.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, no. I know how Infamous 2 ends.
So
He
do
doesn't.
I watch YouTube.
Oh yeah, he
I
would watch
cheat
it.
things.
Yeah, no.
Wikipedia movies for me, thank you.
No, I know exactly.
Well,
how.
I have a theory behind the ending of Infamous 2 because the next game is, of course, called Infamous
They can
Second
play it.
Son. I'm probably all wrong, but that's fine because I never saw Kessler coming as being Cole in the
What
first
is your
game.
theory?
My theory currently is the Beast is actually Cole's son. The reason I think this at the moment is because, and I'm looking at your face and I'm obviously way off, but I'm thinking that the Beast is Cole's son because the next Infamous game is called Infamous Second Son. So why is it called Second Son? Because this character in the new Infamous is the second son of Cole McGrath? That's all I can think of. That's my theory at the moment because, of course, we had that grand twist at the end of the first game to find out that Kessler was actually Cole from the future. So...
No, do you remember in the first Infamous game when it actually turned out that all these powers were awakened across the world? Mm-hmm. No, Second Son refers to something completely
Just another
different.
storyline.
Okay, it's post the events of Infamous 2. The setting of Second Son, it's on a completely different part of the country. It's a completely new character.
Yeah, it's set in a Seattle-like city.
Yeah, and it's somewhat like a totalitarian
Always pay
society
attention
now.
to the MacGuffin in a storyline. That MacGuffin word that always pops up. It's like, across the world, all these powers. Well, yeah, that's just called sequel fodder. If you remember a show back in the 90s, it was called Millennium. It had Lance Hendrickson in it.
Oh, God.
He was the FBI agent. Yeah,
Wow.
there was a show that came on
that's really
right
wrong.
after. Yeah, it was just I know, right? There was another show that came on right after. It's called Brimstone. And the guy was a cop that was summoned up from hell to collect these 1,000 souls.
Yeah, it was their rip-off of Constantine.
But that was the MacGuffin, is that he had 1,000 tattoos on his body, and every demon counted as one tattoo. And so now you're at least 1,000 episodes. Show the guy who decides we have more material, huh?
Well, actually, the MacGuffin would kind of be like the Apple of Eden in the Assassin's Creed series. Yeah, that's what you're working towards. The MacGuffin of it is just what you're getting towards. So you know about the Apple of Eden from the beginning of Assassin's Creed 2. You know that's what you're chasing. Jaws. The MacGuffin's right in the title. You want the shark. That's exactly what you're going after.
The segment sucks. All right, so we're going to change gears a little bit. So I think that we should talk about something that everybody watches, and I don't know a single person who doesn't. The Walking Dead's coming back clearly off their hiatus from the NFL Sunday experience. Is just smart on their part to take a break during that period. People still watching TV. People are now looking for something to do after football, and what better way to do than rake in all those football fans who have absolutely nothing going on.
Well, because it's an obvious cross-correlation that NFL fans like The Walking Dead, because that's what the players end up becoming about 20 years down the road after all the head trauma.
But your wife will inevitably end up wanting to DVR New Jersey Housewives or something, so it's not always possible to watch both shows.
Hey, fortunately for me, my wife is all about Walking Dead.
Well, your wife's about to be my wife.
Yeah, okay? Or my dead body, and that's about the only way that's going to happen.
You know what? I can arrange that.
You're sitting you're sitting in my house talking about arranging my dead body? Yeah, you might want to rethink this.
You're damn right.
This show brought to you from behind a school.
Just real quick, before we get into Walking Dead, for those of you guys that don't know me, I'm Rook from Two Dimension Podcast. You've probably heard me talk a lot about Walking Dead on there, so you know that I'm probably
He's
one
like
of the
our
most
foremost expert, yeah.
idiotic experts on comics out there as far as storylines. Don't ask me writers, don't ask me artists, ask me about the storylines. I'll tell you anything you want to know.
Which is really the only part that I give a shit about. And as far as I've ever done, we've had multiple conversations between being comic book storylines, things like that. I was a big comic book fan as a kid, and then I kind of dropped off and then came back. And
but it's not because of the artists or the writers. It's because of the storylines. Well, and I guess in a way it's kind of because of the writers. But as far as like comics go, Walking Dead is probably the pinnacle of comic expertise right now in the world.
Thing I've ever read.
It's the most depressing, but it's also the most brilliantly written. Robert Kirkman is probably one of the best comic book writers out there in the world right now.
Well, since it's been long enough, I mean, let's talk about the events of the mid-season finale. The governor killing Herschel, prison getting overrun because he runs the tank through the gate. Judith is missing, presumed dead. You can tell by the blood.
Sure is a lot of blood on that baby seat.
I just don't know if the show would kill a kid.
I really think that Kirkman did a good job by trying to go back to that comic book grab. I think that at one point we were all pretty much certain that the comic book would have absolutely no reference to the show anymore. It seemed like it had gone too far apart, and then all of a sudden, and it wasn't scene for scene, but it was pretty good as far as using what they had.
It was excellently done and executed to put the attack on the prison into the show, and
absolutely,
you had the tank, you had the breakdown of the fence lines. You replaced in the show. You replaced Herschel instead of Tyrese to get his head cut off by the sword.
And I think that was way more impactful. I think
it was absolutely way more impactful. Here's my thing though: are they going to kill the baby? No. I don't think they are. What I think is
somebody
that
had
Glenn or one of the girls, somebody picked up the baby, because I just don't think. I mean, let's face it, they didn't have the balls to let Carl shoot Rick's friend. Oh God, why am I going retarded right now?
You're talking about Shane?
Shane, yes.
You shot Shane in the face.
No. In the book, Rick and Shane are in the woods fighting. Shane points a gun at Rick, and Carl shoots Shane through the throat. Now, in the show,
the reanimated Shane.
In the show,
you shot him after
we got that pathetic. But we don't want to have the kid actually kill a human, so let's have him kill the zombie instead, So, we got that little nugget of crap, but, in truth, Carl starts to become a harder person.
I love Carl.
Way beforehand in the book than he does in the show.
Connor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Carl's John Connor. Come on,
Hey, a child raised in the apocalypse.
Yeah. Absolutely.
He is such a ridiculous. I think that at one point during this last season, you kind of just have to sit back and just say, Rick, get in the house. Carl's in charge, man. He's by far the most ridiculous, badass, 13-year-old I've ever seen.
I mean, we've got Farmer Rick sitting over there dealing with his piggies, and Carl's just hey, I want to kill somebody.
Carl, get in the house, Carl. Wait, I want to do an experiment real quick. Dano, can you say Carl?
Carl?
Yeah, it is true.
British people can't say the name Carl.
British people cannot say Carl.
I just did.
And now you said this Carl. Show Dan is our foremost British expert.
Like the rocks in the sea. Okay, say Carl.
Carl.
C-A-R-L. said Carl.
Carl. No, I can go Coral.
Carl.
Is it Carl?
Sounds the same.
Carl.
Shout it like Carl.
No, there's no
Do it. Just shout it. Carl.
Carl. What are we, Superman now?
Yeah.
Carl. I mean, just try it.
Carl.
Now growl it. Carl.
And that is why we have Daniel on the show.
So, Dano, how we doing over there? Greatest 1 to 10.
So, well, now, you're doing a pretty good job, I mean, you're actually doing a good description. I, unfortunately, haven't really caught up with the Walking Dead series. Unfortunately, I haven't really watched much of the show.
It's because he lives under a rock.
He was living The Walking Dead. If anybody, we all know his ex. He was living The Walking Dead.
That is true. He was forbidden.
Welcome back to civilization.
It's nice to.
I was there, and it's hell.
Yeah.
It really was.
Everybody's gonna end up taking Lexapro because PTSD.
No, but as far as the mid-season finale, I was very happy to see it finally end the prison. Because the one problem that I have with the show, the problem with the show is that they're lingering too long in locations.
Absolutely.
They spend way too much time at the farm.
I wanted to kill myself.
They have spent way too much time at the prison. Okay? Mm-hmm. We need to carry on. We need to move on.
So much for the flu, right?
Oh God, the flu. The flu was ridiculous.
The flu was just to build up a little bit of tension. They wanted to get through the first 8 episodes so they can get to the next 8 episodes.
You know that kid they killed was one of the Phineas and Ferb kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, he looked like one.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised by it. Like, that's the guy from Phineas and Ferb. I'm like, what? He's like the show with like the platypus.
Hey, sidetrack on the Walking Dead show for a minute. Have you guys seen the YouTube video of the kid? He's got no legs, only got one arm, and he's only got like 1 or 2 fingers on the arm he has, where he does like these zombie. Oh, dude, no. What they did is they zombied this kid up.
Capsule is in the back molar.
They zombied this kid up and had him prank Norman Remus.
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
The Norman Remus zombie prank with this kid?
Why would you prank Daryl? He's going to probably stab him in the head with like a tire iron or some shit.
He screamed like a little girl.
I'm very glad to know that.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, the even better video was the bad lip reading guys, the guys who do the NFL bad lip reading videos.
That sequel was garbage,
They did it with The Walking Dead. And they cover the first 3 seasons, and at one point it's the scene where Carl and Rick are talking in the barn when Rick says to him, you know, everybody's going to die, I'm going to die, your mom's going to die. But he's like, I go ahead and I make a pie. Bitches love pie. And, you're just sitting there and you're watching it. These guys are geniuses for doing it. It made the show really, really just hilarious because they had the walkers saying stuff like, hey, come back here. I just want to hug.
Bad lip reading's been cashing in on something that another group has been doing. There's this thing on the internet. Everybody as a kid, I think, watched Dragon Ball Z.
Of course.
And there's these guys called Team 4-Star who redubbed all the old season, but they, like, compressed it. So, like, season 1 is, like, an hour and a half now. But they redubbed the whole thing so that they're saying something completely different. And it's just fucking hysterical because like okay, you remember on Namek they had the big like head Namek. He was the grandfather of them all.
Yeah.
Well, they called him Super Kami Guru, and he would just troll and they'd be like, no, I saw a bird, kick its ass. And so they do this whole thing where they redub all the guys like Goku's stupid as hell and Vegeta is just a dick and Krillin, they have a Krillin gets owned counter, like every time he gets owned on the show it dings it one more time. And
Krillin, talk about the most useless guy. No, actually Krillin is one step above the little midget doll guy. What the hell is his name?
Chaozu. Chaozu can explode his body. He's way more useful than Krillin. Oh, no, he is. If there's anybody who's less useful than Krillin, it's Yamcha.
Oh, I didn't like Tien.
Tien was the shit. Tri-beam cannon.
Something about him just...
Is it the third eye? Is it the eye in the middle of his forehead?
I think so.
Yeah. Or is it the fact that he hangs out with a child clown all day in the Arctic?
Mr. Popo.
It was scary as hell in the show. He's like, he tortures the Z fighters. That's the training. So, but yeah, with The Walking Dead, trying to get back on track because clearly we get distracted. Shiny objects and coins.
Squirrel.
Somebody threw glitter. It's so what? I thought that the guy who played the governor, I don't know his name off the top of my head, maybe somebody can help me.
Morrissey?
David Morrissey. David Morrissey. Even though it's the exact same character from that movie with
the Reaping.
Yeah, The Reaping.
With Hilary Swank.
With the dude. And, yeah, she looks like a guy.
Yeah, it was one where they were down in Louisiana and the plagues started appearing because of some chick who...
Watch it, it's the exact same character.
Yeah, I think I've seen it, actually.
David Morrissey plays the exact same character in that movie that he did as the governor.
But he
does it so much better as the governor, that's the thing.
I really like that they kind of gave him the last hit, because I think what they end up doing too much is now you can kind of see the deaths coming, because the character will get too much writing time, and they'll have too much face time, too many lines.
Rest in peace, T-Dog.
Yeah, we saw T-Dog coming a mile away.
Poor T-Dog. Well, like, you saw T-Dog got dying a mile away because another black guy showed up on the show. You know? I mean, let's face it.
And then Michonne shows up and everybody's like, shit.
Apparently, you can only have one black guy with you in the apocalypse.
Hey.
That is what Walking Dead has taught me.
That's show format, by the way.
One Asian, one
Asian, one black, and a whole lot of whites.
No Native Americans.
But I like the fact that
that's a good point. There's actually, we're in issue number 100.
Hello, welcome to modern America. There's no Native Americans here now. They're dwindling.
I was surprised. No, we had.
Just raise your hand.
We had a Hispanic. He got an axe driven through his skull because he went batshit crazy in the prison.
I thought he was Latin.
Hispanics. Close.
It's racist.
It may be inherently racist. I apologize. I think his name was Jesus. I don't know. What was his name?
Was it Jesus?
I think it was Jesus, though.
I don't even remember what they named him in the show.
I'm going to go ahead and look that up.
Anyway, I like the fact that they gave Morrissey a chance to act his character out in the last 2 episodes, where they really gave him a lot of screen time, kind of showed how he left, and then the kind of rise, and then back to the dissension. And it kind of makes me think, like, if it's really the zombie apocalypse and everyone you know is long dead, can you have like these moments of clarity where you can be a good person and then you inevitably slip back into that dark abyss that makes you end up trying to drive a tank through a prison wall?
Absolutely, you can. Take a look at the book. I Am Legend.
Not the movie, the book. The book
no, not that piece of crap movie with Will Smith. Okay, that should have been named anything
the German
other.
Shepherd.
Oh, dude, don't even get me started on that movie. It's such a piece of shit. But in the book,
Will Smith is discovering the cure.
I'm gonna kill myself.
Save humanity.
I did like that the alternate ending was the true ending in that movie.
There will never be a true ending in that movie.
It's not even the same fucking material.
I mean, you're talking about a book that was based in California and they put it in New York. Or you're talking about a book that was about vampires and instead you get these mutant zombie freaks.
Speaking of vampires, did anybody see this stuff about the strain coming out? I don't know if anybody read those books.
By the way, his name was Tomas. I apologize to anybody I may have offended. Tomas, Jesus.
Racist.
They're both Hispanic names.
And today on Is It Racist?
It's racist.
I'm sitting bourbon. I'm sitting here sipping bourbon. Sorry.
It's the bourbon.
No, I haven't read The Strain. I've heard a lot about it.
It's very good. I think as far as like material where somebody it kind of came up with a unique spin on zombie, or like, I guess they could be zombies, but they're vampires instead. They came up with a really unique spin on vampires where it kind of there was this movie that came out, The Night Flyer, where the vampire was not anything what you thought it would be. I mean, it was a great movie, but then they slapped his face on the cover and like completely defeated the purpose of the movie. So the first time I saw it was on HBO, and I watched it the whole way through, and it's fucking terrifying. And I was like 13 when I watched it, and it was so cool because the vampire was so different than what I thought, and that's kind of what The Strain does. It's a totally different. I'm not going to ruin it for you, but it's a totally different vampire, and it dubs back into like World War II, and like one of the main vampire hunters was in Auschwitz, and he was like, it's just a really good show. But it's coming to TV. And they're doing this like guerrilla marketing campaign, and ended up being really cool looking. And as a guy who read the book, I thought I'm actually really stoked for it.
Yeah, I was actually pretty intrigued because I think it was during the mid-season finale of The Walking Dead. They played the little handy-cam footage from inside the hospital.
That's exactly what that was.
On the street corner with the rats.
I had no idea what the hell that was.
And that's how
the vampires don't live in the sewers in this show. Or something.
No, the rats are the key. The rats are the ones that are running away from the vampires because they can kind of tell what's going on. And they're like infected as well. So like what ends up happening is everybody thinks of vampire as like, Twilight or Dracula or 30 Days of Night even, and these vampires are totally different. They're almost like mindless, soulless killing machines, and the whole concept of it is really interesting because of the characters that they build to try to hunt them. It's not like this like super A-team where you've got the guy with the shotgun and the professional. It's like it's this really ragtag group that you really root for.
Yeah. By the way, you mentioned 30 Days of Night, and I just facepalmed. If you have seen the movie, it's a piece of crap. Go get the book. Run to your nearest comic book retailer and get the book.
Well, a lot of the stuff that Frank Miller does not. I mean, they don't do it justice on film, I think. No. But we kind of have to get back on track, I think.
Yes. Going back to The Walking Dead, it's a question that it hits a couple of people in this room, particularly Chris Hardwick, Talking Dead host. Why do we like him?
I don't, actually, and it's nothing against Chris Hardwick. I think he works hard, and I really appreciate the kind of like Ryan Seacrest-esque empire that he's built with the kind of, he's like the authority on the geek subjects, but the problem is that I find his personality to be kind of grating, and I really don't like the overjoyous celebrity, like, oh, wow, I'm sitting here with this person. I wish that he would just kind of respect his own role.
See, on the flip side, that's exactly why I like him, is because he is the fanboy that made it. He is the fanboy that, is palatable to the producers and the directors.
Yeah, but I don't want to see the guy that's giving the interview with the guy that I'm fanboying out about being a fanboy. I'd rather him just shut up and ask a question instead of spending half the segment kind of just like, oh my God, it's Norman Reedus. Oh, everybody clap for Norman Reedus. Oh, I'd rather him just ask a question with Norman Reedus.
I don't see it that way. I really don't. Yeah, I think he fanboys and he talks to him. He's able to fanboy and talk to them on a level that's normal as well. I think he's actually very professional in the way he goes about things.
He is professional, but he does come off as a little bit condescending sometimes. Now, the Marilyn Manson train wreck was just a train wreck. We all knew that. We all saw it coming.
I don't think that... a lot of people disagree with me, and you guys, we were talking about outside, and you guys thought he handled it very well, and I think that he should have been I don't know if it was his handler or the show, the show itself, but I think that should have been reined in a lot sooner.
Personally, I think he did it in just the right timing. What I think he did is he allowed Manson to show his ass and expose himself to be an ass, and then just kind of went, all right, ladies and gentlemen, moving on.
It just seems like that even when he's fanboying out to a celebrity, whether it be, Chris Jericho or somebody from the show.
I mean, Chris Jericho, I understand, yeah.
He just doesn't seem real genuine
I would
about
fanboy out to Chris Jericho every day of the week if I knew him.
I mean,
because you never gonna know him.
But he doesn't seem genuine doing it. Like, he's so over the top at fanboying out to people. The one real moment where I thought that he was actually being legitimate and real with the crowd.
I think it's an act now. Yeah, I think the thing is an act.
It was at the end of Talking Dead a couple of weeks ago. I think it was during the finale when he spoke about his father passing away. That just seemed to be one of the most genuine moments that he's ever had on TV. Going back to Attack of the Show, and everything else just seems like an act now. He just can't be real. He's got to be this over the top. He's got to be.
He's got to be the fanboy.
He's got to be Ryan Geekcrest.
The thing with his father, as somebody who follows him on Twitter, and I'm very much a big fan of Chris Hardwick. I follow him on Twitter, Facebook. Whatever he's on, I follow him on. What happened with his dad was very.
Do you follow him on Chat Roulette?
I would if he was on there, especially naked.
Wieners.
No, that was a very sudden thing. That was a very abrupt thing that happened in his life. So it was, and for him to show up on the show like that after what happened, after his father passed, I think it shows to his professionalism. It shows that he is, he's able to take something that very horrible that happened to him, and he can still step up and be a true professional and do the show.
See, that's the thing. Congratulations, you went to work.
Oh, his dad died, and I you know what? I almost lost my dad this year, and that was like crippling. Like I literally couldn't do anything, and so I have to say, even though I don't necessarily care for him, and I do mean that with respect, but I do think that going to work with his dad passing away was incredibly resilient, and you have to give a guy like that real respect.
Yeah, we're talking about a 48-hour time frame that his dad passed away, they buried him, and then he shows up to do a talk show like that. I mean, he didn't even have time to mourn his father, and he still shows up and does his job.
And I don't think I could have done that.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, something happens to one of my parents, I'm done for like a month.
That's why I'm saying that was like one of the most genuine moments. You could tell the raw emotion in his voice when he was talking to somebody, and he was talking about somebody that he genuinely cared about. That any time now that he fanboy, or to put it in wrestling terms, anytime that he marks out to anybody, it just doesn't seem like it's legitimate. It seems like he's just giving them lip service and fluffing
But
their ass.
that's part of the Chris Hardwick character, though. It's that he puts people over so much, you know. I mean, he'll lay down in the middle. He'll put you over right in the middle. 1, 2, 3. You know, I mean,
Nice, he does the job.
yeah, he does the job right in the middle for you. You know, he really is that guy that you can rely on, and will, whatever your stupid project is, he'll sit there and go, fucking brilliant. No matter how much it actually sounds like shit, he's willing to sit there and go, you know, you've done a lot of good stuff before. This kind of sounds stupid, but you've done good stuff in the past, so let's give you the benefit of the doubt. Instead of a lot of these guys out there, and I'm guilty of it, if you've ever listened to the Two Dimension podcast, you know how much I'm sitting there going, this is going to be a horrible piece of crap. This is a horrible piece of crap. I am the most negative.
You are Debbie Downer.
Oh, I am literally comic book guy from The Simpsons. I mean, worst,
God, Jesus is coming back to save us all.
ever.
Oh my
Yeah. I mean, I'm sitting there going, the worst issue ever. But you know, Chris Hardwick, on the other hand, he's the guy that sits there and goes, you know what? You've done good work in the past, so I'm going to put you over. Even if your concept, even if your idea sounds like crap to me, I'm still going to say it sounds great.
That's because that's what they pay him to do. And speaking about things people pay people to do, I think we should change gears and move to sports.
Okay.
I think that it's good to say here that Cameron and I watch an incredibly large amount of sports, and that neither Rook or Dan are very familiar with. I mean, I think Rook, you watch some sports, but you're not like crazy about it.
I watch during playoffs, bowl games. That's about it.
You watch football, baseball,
Football, baseball.
badminton.
No, I don't even. I especially don't watch basketball because you know.
Dan likes to play a game of soggy biscuit,
In a game that's just, you know,
and yet you know what it is.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to switch
let's talk
gears.
about cricket.
Talk about cricket. That'll take days, just like that game.
Yeah, that's just boring.
Okay, now
Even he doesn't understand cricket.
And he's British. So they ball, they hit it.
Yeah, that's as far as we've
they
gotten.
have a bowler, which is their pitcher. He
And the hats,
underhands it.
apparently.
That is a solid brick ball there.
Yeah, and he's trying to knock the wickets off the
And
stickets.
why do the guys who should be wearing helmets not wearing helmets, and the guys who shouldn't be wearing helmets wearing helmets?
Nothing, pretty much.
Yeah, it makes no sense to me.
I mean, it honestly looks like a baseball version of croquet to me.
So sports.
Yes, sports. This brings us to our segment.
Let's talk
It's
about
called-
real sports.
Yeah, exactly. Let's talk about real sports. This brings us to our segment that we call Yeah, Jeets.
Yeah, Jeets.
For those of you who don't know the story behind Yeah, Jeets, let's go ahead and look on Reddit. There was a couple of posts on there. They all kind of just confirmed each other's stories. Basically, Derek Jeter likes to sit in his house naked, watching SportsCenter highlights of himself while pounding his chest and going, "Yeah, Jeets, yeah." And apparently, he likes to do it during fellatio.
Yeah, Jeets.
He does it nice and softly because of that. So, yes, the Yeah Jeets segment. It's where we all just kind of pound our chest about our sports knowledge, and we all just say, "Yeah, Jeets, yeah, Jeets." So this is going to lead us off. We live in the Tampa Bay area, for those of you who don't know, and we have a local baseball team called the Tampa Bay Rays.
A little one.
It's a very little team. They have a very little payroll, but they're always contending. They're always making the playoffs. And
So,
yeah. So, one of the ongoing debates with the Tampa Bay Rays is the fact of the location of the stadium. We're the Tampa Bay Rays. We play in St. Pete.
it's not even Tampa Bay.
It's a dome stadium that was built 30 years
Florida.
ago.
What was the dome originally built for?
Air conditioning.
I'll give you a little bit of a history lesson about this. The Tampa Bay Rays, well, not the Tampa Bay Rays. The stadium was actually built back in the 80s to try to lure the San Francisco Giants to the Tampa Bay area. They actually printed up St. Petersburg Giants and Tampa Bay Giants shirts for the occasion.
Christ, I remember
And
that, yeah.
The Giants
And now
actually
you're-
ended up using the stadium as leverage to get AT&T Park built out in San Francisco. So then, St. Petersburg tried again, since they already had the building built, even though Major League Baseball told them not to build it, to try to get the Chicago White Sox down here. They felt that Chicago didn't need two teams, and that the White Sox
Are the only hope Chicago has.
Oh, the White Sox won a championship recently. But so they went ahead, they built the stadium to try to get the White Sox. Last minute, the White Sox had pen to paper, signed a deal to come to St. Pete, and then the city of Chicago said, we'll build you Comiskey Park, which has now become U.S. Cellular Field. So if you think to the time period that stadium was built, it was back in the 80s. It was when pitching dominated baseball.
It still does, I think.
No, not so much anymore. Now baseball's all about. It used to be 1-0 scores, 2-1, 2-0. You know, really low scoring games dominated by pitching.
And then you can inject yourself with talent.
Yes, you can inject yourself with talent. You know, that's the marvels of modern technology. But
and syringes.
I honestly have no problem with these idiots injecting themselves with talent.
Oh, I've got no issue with it either.
Yeah, but history has a problem with it. And if you're trying to compare guys who actually did the things they did with natural ability in a time period where that natural ability would have been truly exceptional, then these guys who are injecting themselves with these artificial supplements to enhance their bodies
Let me tell you a little something.
Let me
tell you a little something here right now, okay? Babe Ruth injected himself with talent called alcohol.
Hey, I got no problem with being drunk.
I never chugged a fifth and was better at anything.
Hey,
that is true.
I have been. I'm better at darts when I'm drunk.
Yeah, you're Irish. Of course you believe that.
So if you look at the time period in which this stadium was built, pitching dominated baseball. So then the stadium basically sat unused with the exception of the Tampa Bay Lightning for a year while they had the St. Pete Times Forum built. The arena football team played there. I remember visiting that when it was a
Tampa Bay Storm.
Yeah, the Tampa Bay Storm. It was
you and the 7 other fans. And it was really good too.
Listen, screw you. Tampa Bay Storm was winning championships before anybody else in this town.
Nobody knows who they are.
Yeah, because you're all a bunch of ignorant pricks.
We're not ignorant. They don't fucking advertise. They're like, who are the Storm? Do they play Quidditch?
Yeah, they do. No, they include the season tickets to the Storm whenever you buy season tickets for the Lightning. Fun fact about
I just found out the tickets are buy one, get one free.
They did that for Black Friday, and they did that all throughout Christmas. Buy one, get one free season tickets.
I grew up going to Storm games. They used to give out...
They've been around that long?
Yes, they have.
Actually, they have. They moved from Pittsburgh back in the
Mesozoic era.
90s.
I am not that old. Okay, they used to actually give out free tickets to the following game at the game you were at.
Come back.
Yeah, because they wanted you to come back.
Yeah.
And it's a really good time too. I've actually been to a Storm game, and it's actually really fun.
I remember the Storm back when you had the Burrito Brothers running around the stadium.
Oh my God!
I remember the Storm back when you had Caesar. Okay.
The Little Caesars mascot.
No. Caesar. Caesar was one of the players.
Did anybody
and
else
there was a guy. There would be a guy down at the end zone dressed in a toga and standing there with his arms spread every time Caesar would run in a touchdown.
Are you not entertained?
Hey, has anybody else heard the good news? Orlando recently made some propositions, and it looks like they might be the next MLS owners.
It's actually official.
Really?
It's actually official. It's the Orlando City Lions. They've got a stadium all financed. They're going to be building it right down the street from the Amway Center.
And I'm really thinking that we should all, as a community, align behind Orlando and really start getting into MLS
God,
soccer.
we really go off.
You mean the Amway Center where the Orlando Predators play?
Yes, and the Magic. Yes, basketball.
Yeah, fuck the Magic.
Hooper
the
ball.
Predators play there.
Hooper ball. But yeah, so back to the Tampa Bay Rays. They made an announcement earlier in the week. They posted on Twitter. They sent it out to all the radio stations.
Made a really big
They were
fucking deal
making
about
a
it.
giant announcement, and it was going to be in downtown Tampa where this announcement would come from. And they wouldn't tell anybody about it. They just set a time, said to be there. So immediately, social media starts just lighting up with, oh, maybe it's a stadium deal. Maybe David Price is being traded. Maybe they're bringing in an expensive free agent. Maybe they're selling the team. Anything like this. And so we sit there, and we're all speculating, and
Wonderful things, coming up with great ideas.
I'm reading social media.
thinking it's going to be brilliant.
I'm thinking that the Tampa Bay Lightning owner has sold his stake in the Boston Red Sox
And
and is
they're
buying
coming
into
to
the Tampa Bay
Tampa,
Rays.
baby.
But then it turns out to be the re-signing of Grant Balfour, who pitched for this team 3 years ago. The mad Australian. He's the number one closer in baseball. I will fight anybody who says that Craig Kimbrell is anybody better.
Craig Kimbrell is anybody better?
Yes, Craig Kimbrell is anybody better. But I mean, it's a pretty big announcement because already the payroll is the highest it's ever been in franchise history. And then what do? You add another $6 million a year to it. So now I think they're running about an $80 million payroll, which tells me one thing: they know they're not going to keep David Price past this year, and they're chasing a champion.
Just out of curiosity, do you know what the payroll is on the Yankees?
$290 million.
Yeah.
I mean, you factor in the $250 million that they gave out to Masahiro Tanaka and Jacoby Ellsbury, between the two of them, and then you add in the Brian McCann deal that they did in the offseason. And I think they had one more big move. Yeah, they are hemorrhaging money.
But yet the Yankees are still a bunch of untalented pricks.
No. They are extremely talented pricks, but together their talents don't mesh. Brian McCann is a defensive catcher, but now Robinson Cano has gone on to Seattle. The second baseman that they brought up is not athletic. He will not be there to catch the balls whenever Brian McCann's throwing out runners.
I've actually lived in the metropolitan area, and you don't have any idea the scrutiny and the absolute pressure that's put on those players to perform every day. The New York media is all over those dudes.
Excuse me. I'm from Boston, for fuck's sake. You want to talk about a town? You want to talk about a town that scrutinizes their baseball? Go to Boston
Here's your
sometime.
accent now. Jesus Christ.
No. Here's the thing. Boston fans care about their team in September. They don't care about them.
Tom Brady is great. We should give him some lobsters.
Brady is not great. I'm sorry. Brady is
I beg to differ. Every guy who's ever won any fantasy football league knows Brady is the shit.
Yeah, well, Brady's dumb.
He's not. He's Tom fucking Brady. He'll be back to shove those words in your mouth next season. And we're from Boston. What the fuck?
I may be from Boston, but Tom Brady needs. I mean, seriously.
Everybody in Boston is lining up to kick you in the nuts.
Go ahead and kick me in the nuts. I don't give a shit. Tom Brady is a great player.
We do get off track.
We get extremely off track.
How much longer are we going to go with this guy? I mean, it's like back in the day.
Until he stops winning.
This is like the Redskins with Mark Ripken back in the 90s.
Mark Ripken, first off.
Taken the promised land like he did.
Hey, Mark Ripken.
Tom Brady as our quarterback.
Mark Ripken took the Redskins to the Super Bowl.
And then he promptly lost it for him when he decided
We went to the Super Bowl against the Bills and beat them.
Okay. And then he rammed his head against the wall and got a career-ending neck injury. Next question.
Wait, does Tom Brady take us to the Super Bowl, or all those cheating fucking lip readers that we have in the stands?
Regardless. I mean, Tom Brady, you could cut the arms and legs off, but he's still the best quarterback.
I love my Patriots and everything, but we all know we're a bunch of cheating motherfuckers, okay?
Special?
No?
My wife's bringing brownies in.
Yeah, wife's bringing brownies.
Do you want your brownies heated up in the microwave?
You could heat them up in your cleavage.
It gets smushy that way.
I'm totally cool with that. I will lick it out.
Who wants the brownie? Alright, you want them heated up?
No.
Yeah, it's alright.
Alright.
We are incredibly off topic right now.
Chocolate syrup.
So while we're all completely off topic, I'm going to go right back to the topic at hand. Do you think that the Rays made this major announcement to try to gauge interest in fans, to make sure that they still had a fan base in this area?
No, I just think they're stupid.
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, come on, we're in Tampa. You want to talk about the most bandwagon jumping fans?
You're notorious for that. Like, Tampa fans are very notorious. I think where I'm actually adapting into it.
Well, you have
the
to.
Tampa fans are.
He really has no choice. I watch nothing but Tampa Bay
You
sports.
have to understand that Tampa Bay, no one is actually from Florida. No one.
No, we're all from somewhere else.
We're all from somewhere else. I'm from Mass. You're from
Germany.
Quite far, yeah.
I was letting you fill in the blank, but okay. You know, everybody is from somewhere else. Everybody still has. I've been here since I was 4 years old, for fuck's sake, and I still
Have the accent. That's fucking amazing.
And I still
In Boston,
have
they don't know how to
loyalty.
talk before they're 5. So.
We're talking about stuff on lobster chat.
Hey, don't make me park my car and have a ride. Come over there and kick
Jesus.
your ass.
Hey, Rook, can you find my khakis? You don't know what I'm looking for.
Are they
I could be looking
pleated?
for pants? Okay. Now that we're talking about pleated khakis, that brings us to the subject of football. Anybody who heard about Jim Harbaugh, he buys
infinitely more because of this.
Yes, Jim Harbaugh buys his sideline khaki pants that he wears on game day while he's coaching the 49ers.
From fucking Walmart.
He buys them from Walmart. He pays $8 a pair. They're pleated front khakis, so his wife always gives him a whole bunch of crap for it. So what ends up happening when it comes out that he buys his Docker khakis
Because his wife
from
keeps
Walmart?
throwing away his khakis.
What do they end up doing? Dockers sends him a care package with an entire wardrobe
Complete with Dockers khakis.
with flat front khakis.
Brilliant.
It was brilliant. It was a brilliant way. And
Get that guy in a commercial right now.
absolutely. Absolutely, you know. But here's the thing. I don't think the Dockers can get him into a commercial because I do not believe that Dockers is the official clother of the NFL. Like, I know Nike does all the memorabilia, Nike does all that stuff, but I don't think that Nike does the dress clothing. I don't think it's a contract with Dockers. I think it's somebody else. Because Dockers is owned by Levi's, and Levi's is the title sponsor for the new San Francisco 49ers stadium. Fun fact.
I don't know. Personally, I think you look at guys that make astronomical amounts of money, and he comes out saying that he buys his clothes at Walmart.
Oh, he didn't come out saying it. He got caught by some guy with a camera phone on Twitter.
Yeah, and he was cool enough to take really cool pictures with like his purchase in his hand and stuff. Like,
Yeah, you could tell that he wears tube socks and he also wears briefs. Whitey tighties.
Hey,
Normal guy.
Yeah, just normal dude.
Race tracks.
yeah, that's what.
That's why his wife hates Walmart.
What I'm hearing is this guy is just a normal dude like everybody else. Yeah. Unlike
happens
these
to be an
idiots that
exceptional
show up that are wearing like $80 jeans. Seriously, a pair of jeans should not cost you $80.
They shouldn't cast you anything.
Shit.
Okay, and keeping with the NFL, we all know the Super Bowl's upon us. We had the NFC title games, the AFC title games last week. We've got the Pro Bowl coming up tomorrow night, and we've got the Super Bowl coming up next week. Now, the real hot button topic is the issue of Richard Sherman at the end of the NFC Championship game, when he basically called out Michael Crabtree, a wide receiver for the 49ers, because Crabtree refused to shake his hand 2 years ago. He basically said, you want me to cover a sorry-ass receiver like Crabtree? I'm the best in the game, and that's what happens. He made 2 plays in that game. Number one, he broke up a pass at the end of it, which sealed the victory for the 49ers, and I do believe that he made a tackle to save a first down back in the third quarter.
Yeah, that's the thing that a lot of people are saying is that he could, and actually think it was you that brought this point up to me, is that his job isn't to make plays, it's to keep people from being able to make any kind of position to make plays.
See, I do believe that Richard Sherman is the best cornerback in the game. We have a pretty good one down here in Tampa, Darrelle Revis. I do know for a fact that Richard Sherman was only thrown at 8 times in the NFC Championship game, and the San Francisco 49ers put the ball in the air, I believe, 39 times.
Which means he was doing his job right.
He was on an island. He was by himself. They didn't want to throw in his direction, and when he did, I think he gave up 2 or 3 receptions for 20-odd yards.
Which is exceptional.
He has the lowest quarterback rating per pass attempt when thrown in his direction of anybody in the NFL. So they don't, and he led the league in interceptions, and he doesn't get thrown at very often.
Is that I've been noticing, especially like listening to the radio and watching a lot of TV, I've been noticing that people have been throwing around a lot of accusations about what that actually was, and I think that it's kind of hard to ask a guy whose job is to be physical and to be, in somebody's face, and his job is literally denying another person the opportunity to make a play, and then getting in his face right after he made possibly the most spectacular play of his entire career, and then asking him some questions, and then all of a sudden getting angry because the guy whose entire job is to stay hyped was hyped still in an interview. And here's the thing that really makes me kind of disgusted is that I hear a lot of people throwing around the word thug. Yeah, and it's kind of like America's nice way to say the N-word, and it's really disgusting to see, like, and people really don't even know about this guy's history. He's from Compton, yeah, but he also graduated from Stanford. Wasn't just drafted, graduated.
Second in his class.
3.7 average in the school. So he's a really, really smart guy, and he's very, very articulate, and he's very, very good at what he does, but you're going to get in his face and then expect him to act a certain way and then judge him because of it. It's what you're paying him to do. It's why you're watching him.
Here's the thing, though, is that Richard Sherman is a thug for yelling into a camera on TV after making the biggest play of his career so far. Yet Justin Bieber gets a DUI, and he's considered a troubled youth.
Yeah.
If it's a white guy making that play at the end of the game...
Oh, they wouldn't have been troubled about it at all.
Okay, you know what? Let me rephrase that.
They wouldn't have been
If it's a defensive back from Stanford who is white, who makes that play at the end of the NFC Championship to seal the victory, what do you think everybody's saying about John Lynch?
Trial.
Not a word.
Local legend.
Yeah.
One of the best safeties to play the game.
I
in
want
the
a guy
last 20
who's that
years.
intense on my team. I
Yeah.
want that guy commanding my defense. I want that guy to
Before the
inspire
show,
my
we were
fans.
talking about this, and my only exposure to it has been a limited amount of news coverage, where, to my perspective, that, as I'm getting ready for work in the morning, what I see is a guy yelling. It appeared that he was actually yelling at the female reporter.
Trial.
And that's the only way that
That's-
some of these news broadcasters broadcast a story. I
Absolutely.
think it's extremely irresponsible, and I think it's racist.
Yeah, I do
It
too.
is. It's inherently
It is.
racist because...
Well, and it's easy for them to do because here you have a guy who's got long dreads. He's he's all amped up. He's just roaring to go. And yeah,
He's the perfect target for people
easy
who
to
are
make him
ignorant.
look like an animal. It was easy for them.
It was a very good way to make people to expose ignorant people, I think.
Yeah. But of course, we've also been
he's
seeing
from Stanford. I mean, you have to be talented to graduate with that high of a GPA from one of the most prestigious schools in the nation.
But we've been seeing this attack on football in a whole for over a year now.
It doesn't help when you have guys allegedly murdering people.
Well,
And-
I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about things like the president saying, if I had a son, I wouldn't let him play football. We've had this attack on, football, and the dangers and the concussions and what we're seeing is an
I
attack.
wouldn't want my kid to play football.
We're seeing an attack on sports. We're seeing an attack on physical activities throughout the media.
See, I hate to throw out the word that everybody usually throws out in this situation. It's the pussification of America. It's one of those words you don't really want to use because it's overused to some extent nowadays.
Yeah.
Everybody gets a trophy. Everybody gets this.
Yeah.
No, you can't scream into the camera. We want our people to have some personality, but do not do that.
Yeah, have personality, but not too much
They're
personality.
taking the hits out of the game. They're taking the fun out of the game. You can't celebrate excessively after a touchdown.
Oh, no, you can, but you have to be the right player.
Take a look at what they did to baseball. You can no longer run into the catcher.
Yes.
You can't,
because,
no impact with the catcher anymore.
because Buster Posey, the poster boy of Major League Baseball, got injured because he was doing his job.
Yeah.
And he just so happened to get hurt. While I feel for Buster Posey tearing his ACL or whatever the injury was last year, it's your job. That's the one thing about baseball. That's what I loved about baseball when I played, was when I got the opportunity to round third on a base hit when I was sitting on second,
Struck that
and
son
I
of a
got
bitch.
to take that son of a bitch out. That was my favorite thing to do, because you know what? That catcher's up there sitting there running his mouth to you your entire at-bat.
I did, and I did just talk an
He's
immense
sitting
amount
there
of
just,
shit.
he's talking about your family, he's talking about your
That is the catcher's
girlfriend.
job, to psych you out
No,
while
it's
you
not.
are
It's
at
to
bat.
call pitches and to catch the ball and to make a play.
And
it's
if
not
he
to
just
be a
so
dickhead.
happens to try to psych you out.
I'm sorry, but the catcher's job is to fuck with the batter.
Your experience of baseball, I think, might be limited to the Sandlot.
No. I can say this. I mean, Pasco County isn't prestigious baseball in Florida or anything like that.
It's
We
not
had our
prestigious baseball in Cuba.
It isn't. No. But we did have our fair share of catchers in the local high schools that were just dicks.
Yeah.
They would just say whatever. They would show up at parties that you were at. Like, say we were playing them on a Friday night. They would show up.
baseball.
They would show up at the previous Friday at a party, and they'd try to find out exactly what girl you were hitting on, so they could just sit there and run her down right in front of you.
Yep.
While you're sitting there trying to focus on the at-bat, trying to hit the pitch. And they never played the games at night. They were always in the evening. Chances are you're sitting there with the sun in your eyes and you got this guy jawing in your ear, and nothing felt better than to get a base hit and just stand there and just look at him the entire time. So when I got my chance to lay my shots on a catcher, I did.
Yeah.
Believe me.
I was the guy running my elbow into your mouth.
I mean, I'd go low for leverage, use the football
Try to get
tackle.
lower than D's elbows.
Hey, how many times did you hit the ball and actually try and swing the bat as you released and hope that it hit the son of a bitch as you're running away?
I never really hit the ball. That's why I never went.
Well, this brings us to another point about football. I mean, as much as we like to think that they're trying to take the fun out of the game, they did something really cool with the Pro Bowl, the Football All-Star Game. They instituted a fantasy draft. Basically, you voted for all the players that you wanted to go to Hawaii, and then what they did is they had Jerry Rice and Deion Sanders be captains of a team. And each of those guys got the top 2 vote getters from each conference on their team to act as co-captains. And what they did is Sandlot style, they drafted their Pro Bowl rosters. They got to do all the little smack talk in between picks, and they got to just sit there and they got to draft their team of what they thought would kick the other team's ass.
I think we watched the whole thing.
We watched the entire thing. We watched the first night, which was the interior offensive linemen, the interior defensive linemen, and the punters and kickers, and the kick return.
The special team, yeah.
Yeah, and we got to watch it, and it was very interesting because it gave face time to the guys that don't usually get face time. The left guard for the Baltimore Ravens or whoever. You got to see these guys and you got to go, oh, okay, well, that's Logan Mankins.
That is.
That's whoever that is. And then the second night, they did it on a grand gala.
Justin Tucker was the man, by the way.
Justin Tucker is the man. But they were able to pick a team. You had 6 quarterbacks to choose from. So each side got 3 quarterbacks, and whenever one side got their 3rd quarterback, the remaining quarterback or quarterbacks got assigned to the other team so that everything's equal on rosters. So you've got basically Drew Brees thrown to Jimmy Graham, which we see all the time. But you've also got him being protected by his left guard and his right guard. Oh, actually, you know what? Team Rice is basically the New Orleans Saints.
I think that the real I don't know if you liked it or not. Did you like it?
I enjoyed it because you did get to see some personalities from these guys, but
I thought it was stupid as
but
fuck.
them showing their personalities is really a downfall. They had the Green Room Confidential camera, where it was a showcase for these guys that hadn't been picked yet to basically sit there and go,
funny.
Yeah, well, what about me? I'm the best running back in the game. You didn't pick me, and it's it was very
convoluted.
It was very unflattering for a lot of these guys because you're like, hey, you know what? You got an all-expense paid trip to Hawaii.
Terrell Suggs was awesome.
Terrell Suggs was amazing, photobombing Andrew Luck the way he did, and just having fun.
Everything he did was funny.
See, I want these guys to not take the Pro Bowl seriously. I want them to play a great game because they will.
Yeah.
But I want them during this fantasy draft to have a whole lot of just fun with it. Just be like, hey, you know what? I'm going to go number 1 overall.
I hate to tell you this, but I honestly cannot say that I've ever watched the goddamn Pro Bowl.
And a lot of people can say that. And I think that the draft was a good idea to try to draw some people in, and that a lot of people now play fantasy sports. Something that we'll end up covering in season is fantasy sports. We're all avid players. But I think that what was really bad about that was the fact that it looked like Deion Sanders had a much better grasp of what it was supposed to be than Jerry Rice, and I think that if you were going to do it again, you'd have to get 2 people who actually knew what the hell they were doing.
I hate to say it's because Deion Sanders is a much more intelligent person.
No. Here's the thing: is that Jerry Rice
is a freaking genius.
Jerry Rice's co-captains were Robert Quinn, defensive end for the St. Louis Rams, and Drew Brees, quarterback for the New Orleans Saints.
And he basically let Drew Brees run the whole show.
And what ends up happening, the first night, Drew Brees takes both of his guards, guys that he knows. Drew Brees then takes the tight end that he knows, defensive players that he knows.
And in the meantime, Deion Sanders snatches up
just
Cam Newton and Andy Luck.
Yeah, I'm going to take Cam Newton. I'm going to take Andrew Luck. I'm going to take Gerald McCoy.
I'm going to take
and
Des
Dominican
Bryant.
Sue, Luke Kuechly. I'm going to take all the best guys in the NFL. And Team Jerry Rice is sitting there, fielding the team of retards.
If they were literally trying to make the best teams they possibly could, and if they were really going to play the game out, and they're not, then Team Sanders would destroy Team Rice. The other thing that was really bad,
on paper, it's a very good team.
The other side of it is that I really think that trying to showcase some of the personalities, like it was supposed to showcase and be fun and lighthearted, and then certain players like Brandon Marshall made it very uncomfortable to watch, and it wasn't a joke as you got the feeling to it.
And we all know, it's very common knowledge that Brandon Marshall has a history of mental illness. He went to University of Central Florida, beat up his girlfriend while he was there, didn't get drafted until the 6th round of the NFL draft. I think he was the 16th receiver
model
taken.
NFL player.
But he's always been battling mental illness. He's been battling mental illness his entire career. I mean, he's beaten up his wife. She's now his wife, and he's still beating her up. But he's now.
Is that confirmed? Is that authentic? Because you just accused him of concurrent.
No.
Abuse.
I do believe it's the same woman. But I know that there's been multiple. I do believe there's been multiple accusations. This is just me. I'm not accusing anybody, but I do believe that is the truth.
Wild accusations.
But Brandon Marshall's now
What if you kill
champion.
Hitler?
Now Brandon Marshall is trying to fight for more mental health.
I invented the internet.
Yes, we get it, Al Gore. But yeah, I mean, for him to sit there and he was just starting to get angry because he wasn't taken in like the first 15, 16 picks of this fantasy draft. He was getting really angry, and I was fearing for Alex Flanagan back there from NFL Network. I thought she was going to get her ass whipped.
And in a roundabout way, back to Richard Sherman yelling in the white reporter's face.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what it would have brought us right back to. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a couple-minute break. We're going to step back.
Halftime, baby.
This is halftime of Media Rehab with Matt and Cam. We'll be back with the first 16 picks in the Supervillian Draft. We'll explain later. And we're back. So now what we're going to do, it's going to be a short-term recurring segment on here. Basically, if you know how the NCAA tournament works, with 64 teams put together, and they whittle it down to 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, and then a champion. What we're going to do is our Supervillian Bracket. It's going to be a segment. It's going to be, basically, you're going to have 16 comic book villains, 16 movie villains, 16 television villains, and 16 video game villains. What we're going to do is we're going to work down until we get the final four, which is the best comic book, TV, film, and video game villain. We're going to put them up against each other, and we're going to see exactly who comes out on top. We're all going to be fighting for our arguments. You will probably disagree with us, which we appreciate your feedback. I'll give you all the information on that at the end of the show. And so tonight we're going to start with comic books. What we're going to do is we're going to go around the table. Everybody's going to nominate. And you have to come to a consensus in order to be on the list. First 16 on the list get it. Everybody else is out. In the event of a tie, 2-2, between Rook, Dan, Matthew, and myself, you get to state your case. You get 30 seconds to do that. And then we go around and do another vote. If there's still a tie after that, we have brought in Hash Browns, who will be the tiebreaker vote. He will be the one to determine whether or not they go through. First 16, go.
Oh, I'd like to take a second real quick to introduce who we have present at the show. Of course, you have Cameron and I think we both agree that I do a little more comic booky things than you do.
Oh, absolutely you do.
But what I like to do is I really like to try to get guests who are exceptional or at least a common man in the industry. And so what I've done is I've kind of gotten you the gambit. I got Rook here, who is currently surrounded by his folders of Marvel cards and all other kinds of, like, was it like he's sponsored by Fleer or what is that?
Hey, when you're talking about comic books, there's no quicker reference than comic book cards. And while they don't make them anymore, back in the early 90s, we had comic book cards.
It's really cool that you collect them, yeah.
And I have series upon series, and it tells you everything you need to know about a particular character. So any character you can bring up, I can debate.
And that's the expert voice of the of this segment in particular. When we were looking for guests, we went out and we went ahead and tried to recruit the best guy we could think of when it came to a particular genre. And when it comes to comic books or comic book related things, Rook is our foremost expert. And you've seen him on other podcasts. And
You can catch me on Two Dimension Podcast. You can find us at bunchofdorks.com/2dimension, or check us out on iTunes, Two Dimension Podcast.
All right.
shameless plug-a-tude.
Yeah, I know what you're trying to say.
We also have Hash Browns over here. This is his alias. This is what we know him by, and it's going to be a mystery. And you have to send it to our email and guess what our why he's named Hash Browns. If anybody ever gets it, then we'll make sure we get you on the show.
We'll give out the email details at the end of the show, but right now, I think it is time to start the superhero bracket.
Well, let's. We got Billy and
Supervillain, sorry.
Billy's the middle ground, and then we've got Dano, our official English everything.
That's right.
He's our hooligan.
You can't hear the accent because he's not drunk enough. Because he's drinking Rolling Rock.
It's been just a few beers and a lot more, and it might come out more.
He's trying to do his best American accent.
It doesn't work.
It's
It's true. I could actually put on a whole American accent, but it does.
See, now he's not talking like a goober.
This is terrible.
All right, so the first things first is we're going to start with Rook. Since Rook is the comic book guy, then he gets the honors of making the first decision. Rook, who's your guy?
All right. When you talk about comic books, you have to think of the greatest villain in comic book history. I don't care if you talk Marvel, DC, Image, whatever verse you're looking at. Let's look at the greatest villain of all time, Lex Luthor.
Lex Luthor is 6'5", 240 pounds. He runs a 4.40.
And he's worth about $1 quadrillion.
Lex Luthor.
I think it's a pretty good choice. I've got Lex Luthor on my list, and I think that the human who can do anything is really kind of a daunting aspect. You're thinking about a guy who's just a guy, who's just a human, but he's got this exceptional intellect, and he comes up with these fucking crazy schemes just because he doesn't like that cocksucker from fucking Krypton.
Lex Luthor is basically the evil Tony Stark, but he is the end-all, be-all of rich people with nothing left to do except for really just fuck
up Superman's day.
I just really would say the best Lex Luthor ever was Red Sun.
Absolutely, and that's actually an alternate verse issues. That's not part of the main storylines. Lex Luthor from Red Sun is completely different from what you normally see with Lex Luthor. He's kind of more of like an anti-hero in that series line, but still very much a villainous character.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this to a vote. We're going to start with Dan. Dan, what say you?
I would say yes.
Matt?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm just going to send him through with a yes.
It's unanimous.
Yeah.
Lex Luthor is into the final 16.
Dano, who's your guy?
Mine will be Megatron. On the
Ooh,
Transformers.
Megatron, that's a very good choice.
See, I'm not a really big fan of the Transformers comics. I didn't really think... I think that easily the movie Megatron might trump, or even the cartoon Megatron might trump the comic book Megatron.
Now, I didn't really read Transformers back in the day. I mean, I was really young. I kind of preferred my Beast Wars. And I'm too young for the Transformers comic books. So I'm going to defer to Rook on this one. Rook, tell me why I should vote for Megatron.
Why you should, why you shouldn't. All right, let's look at this. Transformers comic books. You're talking about comic books that have traversed decades, okay? And throughout all that time, we have had Megatron. We have had Megatron in one form or another, whether it be Gen 1, Beast Wars, Fall of Cybertron, the steampunk-esque comics that they came out with a couple of years ago. Megatron is always a constant villain in these series. Megatron is this all-encompassing evil character that just wants nothing more than the extinction of the human race for the benefit of the Decepticons.
So it's Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah, pretty much. Megatron's a fantastic character. Versatile, to no end. And that's not talking about the variations of his transformations. I'm talking about the ability to be the king, the soldier, anything like that. Megatron, I'd say yes.
Okay, well, we've got Rook's vote there. Matthew, what do you say?
You know, I look at the Transformers and I think of the different mediums that they've come through for, and when I think of Transformers, I think of being a little kid watching the only English television I could get on TV, and I think about the Transformers cartoon. And in that, that's what I really see Megatron as, is this dude who's just there to just fuck up Optimus Prime's day. I really like that about a villain, but if we're going with comic book villains, I just think that there's just way too many better options to put in that list than Megatron, so I have to invariably say no.
And for that exact same reason, I'm actually going to say no. There are so many better choices, in my opinion, just by looking at just the obvious. Whatever's going to come up in this, they're all going to be the same guy. They're going to be super evil. They're going to be the number one foil to whoever the hero is. But Megatron didn't do anything very special to me. Even destroying Cybertron, it just wasn't really special to me, because they never really enveloped the backstory of Cybertron. It's not like destroying Earth. If he destroyed Earth, I'd be like, yes, put him in. He's the number one seed. He's the guy to beat because he actually got the job done. But for me, it's not the emotional connection to Megatron where you just look at him and you go, I hate him.
So that's 2 yeses.
That's
two
2 to
no's.
2. So
Hash browns,
defer to
what say
Hash
you?
I'm actually siding with Cameron and Matt. I love him as a character, the threat that he poses, but for me, Transformers again isn't really about the bad guy. It's about the connection of humanity and how a robot can actually gain its humanity in a sense. So no.
So that's Megatron down.
Megatron down.
Megatron is out.
Guess that makes it my turn, or are you going to take a turn, Mr. Hash Browns?
I want to take a turn.
Absolutely.
Because I really want him in. He's one of the most badass villains out there, almost indestructible, just a terrifying force to ever have on any planet. And his name reckons that. Apocalypse.
Without a single doubt in my mind, do I say Apocalypse belongs on this list. Apocalypse is the bringer of doom, the transverser of ages. He is by far the most daunting and just intimidating villain. And even any aspect of any other character that is linked in a way with Apocalypse is the heralder of doom and destruction. And without any doubt in my mind, do I say yes, Apocalypse is on this list.
Apocalypse, that's a yes for me.
100% Apocalypse, Ensabanor, whatever you want to call him. He has been a character that has been present in the X-Men titles, in the Marvel Universe. He's affected the lives of so many characters in so many negative ways. Apocalypse has to be on the list.
I also agree, yeah.
That's unanimous.
Then Apocalypse has made the list. Matthew, it's your turn.
All right, I'm going to go with something here that I made my list based on a couple of different things, and it's basically the ability to do the most catastrophic damage, or the mind frame to do so. And so with my vote, I'm going to nominate the Eater of Worlds, Galactus.
Yes.
I'm going to completely disagree. Galactus, while he is a phenomenal character, what has he really done? He has never once actually destroyed a world that was worth a damn. He's created characters like the Silver Surfer and various other heralds that he's had throughout time. But overall, Galactus is a non-threat. He's been defeated so many times. He has never won. Galactus is not a winning villain. Galactus is a losing villain over and over again.
I'm going to take my 30-second rebuttal and say it's not just and everybody would know that he's been defeated by the Fantastic Four and other things, but I think that in that era of comic book writing, that the hero always won. And I feel that Galactus's ability to consume your entire world and to create characters like the Silver Surfer and these other guys kind of transcends the ability of a lot of other villains. And I think that the capacity for him to destroy your world, every time Galactus shows up, your world's about to turn into a pack of Skittles. And I think that's what makes him a supervillain, the best kind of supervillain.
You know, after hearing Rook's explanation to why he said no, I actually kind of consider Galactus to be the Kim Jong-il of villains. He's the one who's all talk, like, oh yes, I will bomb you. Yes, I have this capability. But in the end, it ends up sputtering out 20 feet from the launch pad.
He's not a finisher. That's the bottom line with Galactus. He's not a finisher.
It's the
But in the
unlimited
comic
threat.
books,
He's a
if
very...
he finished his job, he
It's
would have no
over.
more story.
Yes.
He's storyline ender villain.
It would be different if they actually used Galactus at some point to end a comic book storyline.
But before you heard that, when you think of Galactus, your world's about to end, you said yes immediately.
Yes, but I just turned Galactus into a world-devastating villain and made him a pussy-ass bitch who can't beat anybody.
That's what you can
How
say
many
about a
different
bunch of different
characters?
guys.
How many different characters have beaten Galactus?
How many different
many?
characters had the asset of Silver Surfer being like, hey, yo, this son of a bitch is coming?
Silver Surfer, Fantastic Four, Guardians of the Galaxy, Nova.
No, not Guardians.
Yeah, actually, the Guardians have.
Really?
Yes, they have.
Okay.
Nova.
So that's...
Do I keep going?
Yes, no. What do you say?
I would actually have to say no. I mean, he does...
Galactus is voted down.
You know,
Galactus is out of it.
I'm shocked. He was on my list. I even checked him off that he was.
And here's the problem that I see with this coming now, is that you've knocked him off the list. Then who do you have that's better than Galactus to go on it? You know what I mean?
We're gonna have to wait
Go
to
ahead,
see.
Cameron.
Magneto,
Yes.
the leader of the Brotherhood of Mutants. Xavier's ultimate foil. You can't kill him with bullets. You can't throw him
His
into a
power
gem
can
cell.
change the polarity of Earth and then destroy the entire thing. Yeah.
With the
I don't think
magnetic
we need to
fields.
explain this. Just
With
say
the
yes.
magnetic fields out in space, I mean, I think Magneto could live in space if he destroyed the Earth.
No, he did.
Yeah, it's called Planet M.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, he developed Planet M because he felt that if he stayed on Earth, he would destroy it.
So that's a unanimous yes.
yes, Magneto.
I mean, seriously, can anyone argue against Magneto being in this bracket?
Michael
Joseph.
Fassbender sucks. Well, actually, you know what? I had a pretty compelling argument for Magneto. If anybody said no,
Yeah, we don't want to hear it.
yes.
Rook, it is up to you. What say you, sir?
All right. When I think of villains, I think of story-altering characters, people who have changed the landscape of the comic book series. And when I think of a character that has absolutely changed what you see in a particular hero storyline, I think of Green Goblin. Think about how much he has done to Spider-Man, how much he has altered Spider-Man's universe.
Dan, go ahead. And, do you need a minute to make your vote?
Yeah, I would actually like a minute.
I'm gonna go ahead and against popular opinion, I'm gonna say no. And the reason I'm gonna say no is when I think of the top 16 supervillains of all time, I need a end game scenario. I need a world destroying effect. I need the omnipotent threat that if you don't stop this guy, he's going to destroy existence. And when I think of Green Goblin, I think of a maniacal genius. But I don't think of him as that being that guy who's going to end humanity. And when I'm thinking of the all-time greatest villains, I don't think of Green Goblin. I think he's an excellent villain. I think he's probably one of the most developed personalities, but I don't think of him as one of the all-time world destroyers. And when I think of supervillain, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for your shit is going to end if you don't stop this guy. So I say no.
If I may.
Yes, sir.
when you talk about your shit is going to end, a guy who has a world plan, most people look at the Green Goblin as specifically targeted towards Spider-Man. However, if you read the Avengers Initiative, you saw a different character with the Green Goblin when he became the Iron Patriot. You're talking about the same character here.
But I call that the Iron Patriot. I don't call it the Green Goblin.
But it's the same psychosis that drives the character, starting with the Green Goblin, that carries on through. You're talking about a guy that forced Spider-Man to break the neck of his beloved and turned him absolutely inside out. You're talking about a character who spent years planning, plotting, and turning everyone against each other in the Avengers Initiative. You're talking about a character that is just brilliantly sitting behind the scenes, moving the pieces about the chessboard, and waiting for the end game. But planning to be the last one on top.
My counter to your argument is, with Spider-Man, it's almost the easiest character to do that to. Dr. Octopus.
Yeah.
Dano, what say you?
I'd have to say yes.
Cameron, what say you?
Your vote was a no, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the only things that I know about Green Goblin is what you know about the movies and some stuff that I had learned back in the day. Makes me feel old. But, I mean, you don't really get that sense of dread with Green Goblin. You know, yes, he targeted Aunt May, yes, he targeted Mary Jane, whatever, Gwen Stacy, however you want to look at it. But it was never Spider-Man that was in danger. It was always someone close to him to basically set him over the edge. He was trying to create a supervillain out of Spider-Man by doing stuff to set him over that edge. The psychological threat was absolutely there. But on paper, gun to my head, Green Goblin, yes or no? I would say no.
So, Mr. Browns.
I'm actually really conflicted because I love two types of villains. I love the psychological villain, and I love the physical villain. The one who's just gonna wreck the world with his fists. Yeah, I'll get closer to you. Sorry.
We're redirecting the mic. I'm sorry. It's the first show. Give us a chance here.
I actually want to say yes for Green Goblin.
Green Goblin, is that on the list? Dano!
Alright. Mine is, and I'm surprised it hasn't come up so far, is the Joker.
Well, it's kind of the obvious.
I know it's the obvious, but
it has to be said.
Well, you look at the two incarnations from the movies, and you look
But this
at
is the comic book version.
the comic book. Oh, Killing Joker is amazing.
I have to say this, in support of your argument, I have to say that he's a maniac. He in the latest incarnation, he's wearing a Robin's face.
No, he's wearing his own face.
It's his own face?
It is his own face.
I thought it was
Death in the Family, what it is the Joker's face was somehow removed or severed. I can't remember exactly the scenario. And he comes back to Gotham to retrieve his face. That's why he has that face pinned to his own. I'm sorry. Go ahead. That's why he has that.
I have to say that as far as maniacal villain and just crazy son of a bitch, I do believe that guy is the kind of guy that could drive the world into an endgame scenario. And even though he's kind of like the cliche yes voice, when you think of Batman, immediately therefore after you think of the word Joker. And he's the arch nemesis of probably one of the most popular villains of all time. And if we're going to vote in Lex Luthor for the exact same reason, just instead of being intelligent, just being that crazy, I have to say yes on the Joker.
Well, some men just want to watch the world burn.
Thank you, Michael Caine.
And I will give that a yes, because the Joker deserves to be on in multiple categories.
Now, I can see Rook here.
The Joker should be in all 16 of each side of the bracket. Best video game villain, best TV, best film, best comic. He should be in there. And whether he wins in any of them, I mean, you're fighting incarnations there.
No.
But he does deserve to be on the top 16 because he is the ultimate nemesis. He's the ultimate foil.
He'll never stop.
They're the yin and the yang to each other. Batman and the
I want to see
Joker.
the counter argument to this. Are you about to counter argue this?
I actually am.
I really want to see what you have to say. Man.
Okay, you're talking about a psychopath here who has no direction, no real goal, other than kill one individual person.
To give him credit, it's kind of hard to kill him.
to give him credit, it is kind of hard to kill him.
That's shooting for the stars.
You have to understand, you're talking about a guy who, we're talking about a comic book character, but yet it was beautifully put in Dark Knight. I'm a dog chasing a car, but if I catch one, I don't know what I'm going to do with it.
That's the movie.
That's the Joker. If he kills Batman, what else does he do?
But this is the
who else does he go after? In the comic books,
church and state, you cannot involve a movie type personality.
I'm not involving the movie. What I'm saying is, if Joker was to finally kill Batman, because that is the only thing he ever focuses on. He never focuses on anything in the books other than killing Batman.
That motherfucker
causing
Robin.
Batman anguish.
Oh, and he calls Robin to come back.
He never has focused on the broader picture. Joker is not a big picture character. He's tunnel visioned. Joker kills Batman. He's got nothing else to do.
What does Joker do then?
Destroy the world?
I think he burns the motherfucker to the ground.
That's 3-1.
Don't get me wrong. I completely agree on the fact that Joker is a phenomenal character, and he's done unbelievable amounts to drive the Batman franchise. But as far as a big picture villain for worldwide devastation, I don't think Joker could do it. I think he'd be the dog in Up. Ooh, squirrel. He'd get lost. He'd get lost in the chaos.
When he gets lost, it's with dynamite. So, Joker's on the list then. Mr. Browns.
Alright, y'all have put up a lot of compelling characters. However, I have yet to see any one of these even come close to killing Superman.
Oh, yeah, baby.
So I nominate Doomsday.
Here's my thing. Doomsday did the impossible. He took down the Wonder Boy giant. And I can see Rook just, cliche vote. But as far as, game ending, he's the Kryptonian hatred soul box. He's like the Dybbuk box of all Kryptonian past. He is the single most just fuck your weekend up villain to show up on the set, be like, oh, who's here? Oh, Doomsday, you say. Oh, well, my dad's really sick, and, my mom's not doing so well, and I'm just gonna go, you know what, man, you guys got this. You can take his ass for sure, but I'm gonna be in fucking Connecticut. I just, when I think of Doomsday, I think of absolute just destruction. The only drive and initiative is to just wreck Superman's day. And if you're wrecking Superman's day, you're alright in my book. So fucking absolutely 100% yes on Doomsday. Bring the pain, Cape Flag, and the rubble.
Yeah, I do believe that Doomsday did kill Superman, right?
Yeah, he killed the shit out of him.
Right? Yeah.
They had to rewrite the storyline with 4 really retarded Supermen.
Yes.
One trick pony.
Doesn't matter, you killed Superman!
What the hell of a trick?
That's your one trick, sign me up!
I want to see a David Blaine do this.
He didn't kill Superman. He made Superman take a really long fucking nap.
That's called dead!
He made Superman take a 1-year nap. And
that's a pretty long
Then he
time.
came back and bitch slapped the shit out of 4 pretenders.
When's the last time you knocked out a dude for a year?
Doomsday is a one-trick pony. With all he focused on was kill Superman, and then I'm done. I have nothing else to do. I killed Superman, done, shut down.
So you mean to tell me that he is the Joker?
By your rationale.
By your rationale, he is the Joker.
Here's the thing. A little known fact about Doomsday is that Doomsday is DC's Super Saiyan. Every time you beat him, he becomes stronger. Every time you fight him,
No.
That is a fact.
No, DC already had a character named Amazo that did this, okay? Doomsday was a one-trick pony. They brought him out to kill Superman. They did that. They turned around. They churned out 4 other titles.
Superman!
They turned out 4 other titles. He was a money-making idea. And then what has Doomsday done since then? Nothing. He ain't shown up again. He's shown up like, oh, hey, look, we're going to throw Doomsday into this book. Oh, Superman wiped the floor with him.
That he can kill Superman again?
No, he's never killed him again. He did it one time, and what they do, he was a
How many other
money
guys
maker.
killed Superman
All
one
that
time?
Doomsday did was make money
Lex
for
Luthor,
DC.
your vote killed Superman no times.
Lex Luthor has kicked Superman's ass how many fucking times?
But he never killed him.
Yeah.
General Zod couldn't even kill him.
Even Doomsday did not technically kill Superman. He made him take a dirt nap for
So Rook votes
5
a
minutes.
douche yes.
Doomsday is a bullshit character. I'm talking.
Dana, what say you?
When I think villains, I think legacy characters. Doomsday came. He did his
So
job.
he conquered.
He didn't actually win because Superman came back, whooped his ass, and then we ain't heard shit from him since.
They had
He
to whip
never
his ass.
fucking showed up again.
Because Doomsday took his ball and went home.
I'm sorry, I'm saying yes because he's the only guy
Doomsday
who's
is
done
on the
Superman,
list.
So for anyone to have done that to Superman, it's a yes.
Talk about passion in this room.
All right, so it's my vote then. All right, we all know my point of view on the subject, so I'm just gonna go ahead and say Ultron.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
No! Sorry, just wanted to be different.
Doesn't really matter, Billy. You don't have a choice in the matter.
I don't even think we need to discuss this. I think Cameron.
Actually, I want to discuss this because Ultron is such an amazingly
I think that's why
wonderful
we unanimously
character.
voted him in.
But on the flip side, I want to throw this out. If you put Ultron in, why not Amazo from DC?
That's gonna be your
Because-
next vote.
Because
DC,
nobody has
Since
brought up
nobody has
Amazo,
any
you
idea who the fuck
jackass.
that is, it'll probably get voted down.
It's the same fucking character.
So Cameron.
I hate to be on this whole kill Superman bandwagon,
I don't hate it at all.
but he is one of the best superheroes of all time because he was billed as indestructible, but there have been many people who have come. They came, they saw, they tried to conquer. Some of them did, some of them didn't.
One did.
Brainiac.
Ooh.
Brainiac.
I didn't see that one.
Oh, I did.
Yeah. Rook. You're at bat.
I don't know. That's a good one. I mean, first thoughts is yes. Then I think of where renditions of Superman.
Hall of Supervillains.
Superman has made Brainiac his bitch so many times. I mean, Superman has actually broke Brainiac down to the point where he is subservient to him, and like takes care of takes care of things for him, cleans up for him and shit. I mean, Brainiac is a brilliant character, but I don't know. Come back to me on this. Let me think. Let me marinate on this for a few.
No, mine's a yes. All the way on that one.
I'm gonna say no. And I'm gonna say no because of the same things that Rook was saying. Is that he does have the ability, but it's kind of limited in his scope. In that when I want my supervillains to be able to be in the one-on-one showdown, like it's coming down to 1v1, let's get this sucking son of a bitch down to the ground. I don't see Brainiac holding his own, and it's just because of that that I say no. If his arch nemesis had been another character, let's say Green Lantern or somebody like that, I think would have been much better suited. But since his main foe is Superman, Superman is such an overblown character and so hard to write really good villains for, because you've made this super omni-type superhero, and now every villain he has to be the pinnacle of something, and I just don't see Brainiac as that guy.
Rook, it's back to you. You're the decider. He either goes through or he goes through a tiebreaker.
All right. So here's what I think of when I think of Brainiac. He's done some amazing things as far as the Shrunken City. You know, in Red Sun, he outsmarts Lex Luthor. You know, but in the end, Brainiac is nothing more than this computer processing machine that just can't. He can't seem to get. He really can't seem to get one over on Superman.
You need to get at least one.
I'm actually pretty intrigued to hear Billy's comments on this because I could see him stewing over there. So go ahead and vote no because I really want to hear this.
I'm gonna pull a no vote.
Wow.
Mr. Browns. The hashiest of Browns. Hash Brown Town.
I love the idea of Brainiac. What he is, what he represents. For Superman, he was a villain not because of his power, but because of what he had done. What he had done to so many worlds, captured so many people, and just imprisoned them in a sense of stasis in his ship. But there's, other than the
MacGuffin for the online game
of a world, he really poses almost no real threat to anything. He can end a world, but he's so easily disrupted. He's so easily disrupted. And you were wrong in Red Sun. He did not outsmart Lex Luthor.
Am I?
Yeah. Lex Luthor outsmarted not only Brainiac, but he at the same time outsmarted Superman.
It's been a few years since I've read it, okay? So
Hash Browns, let me just bring this up to you. I mean, I'm an avid video gamer. We've been playing a lot of DC,
games, though.
but we've been playing a lot of DC Universe Online, and the frequent storyline in DC Universe Online is that Brainiac has come and he's taken over the world with the Construct, and the superheroes have...
Again, I defer to Matt. It's not the video game argument. It's the comic book argument.
When you're looking at the comic book Brainiac, because I've played a little of the DC Online, and yes, that Brainiac is badass.
And I would vote yes for him in that instance, yes.
The comic book, it was during a time where he had... I forget who he had fought off, but it was essentially just this big muscle-bound guy. And then Brainiac was introduced as... You know, you have the jock villain, and now you have the nerd villain, and it brought so much dimension to it. But it's
very monochromatic.
Yeah, it's very lackluster.
All right, so
I vote no.
That is a down on Brainiac. Rook, who's your guy?
As I sit here thinking, and I process through great villains. You know, we pulled Ultron out, and I made mention of Amazo, but Amazo, Ultron, it's.
I think we all need an education as to who this guy is, because I don't think my comic book knowledge is as diverse as yours.
It's two sides of the same coin. Amazo is a character that evolves as you fight him. Superman hits him with his I-beam, and Amazo adapts. Green Lantern hits him with a blast of green will energy. Amazo adapts.
So that's pretty cool. He's
a very adaptive character. However, he's not my pick, actually. My pick, because like I said, Ultron, Amazo, two different sides of the same coin. My pick, the Sentinels.
What?
Pretty cool.
No.
I'm going to say no, too.
No, I say no.
Two no's right off the bat.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
And the Sentinel description of him, I've actually never heard of it.
So that's a really
You've never heard of the Sentinels?
Hash Browns, what is your vote?
I don't get one unless...
Wait. I got a minute to convince Danimal of the Sentinels.
I
get a chance to convince Danimal of the Sentinels here. Okay, so let's talk. Days of Future Past, the Sentinels slaughter all of the X-Men, all the Fantastic Four, the Avengers, everybody. They just wipe everybody off the fucking map. the Sentinels take control of humanity. They are these machines, these towering robot humanoid machines that control everything. The Sentinels are a constant villain in the X-Men.
They're a security
We get a
force.
rebuttal.
They are a security force.
I know you got a rebuttal, but let me finish. The Sentinels have not only shown up across the X-Men universe, they've shown up in the Avengers, they've shown up all over the place. They are this force, this
That gets
amazing
slaughtered
group of
like
machines.
Swiss cheese by Wolverine.
And
slicing
they
their
are the
skull.
and keep coming back.
You know all those
over
characters
and
that die
over again.
consistently at the hands of all
You're
the
talking
X-Men?
about the guys that kill.
They're called foot soldiers and Ninja
They're
Turtles.
pretty much just giant robots that go around. And
They are
They
the
get their
putties
asses
in Power
handed to them
Rangers.
by the X-Men.
yeah.
They are the Power Rangers putties.
That is about the best way to possibly put it. All right, so that's a unanimous no. Let's go with the Sentinels. Dano.
Right to Star Wars.
Danimal. He's the
Mine
animal.
is Omnicron from Transformers, the World Eater.
You watched a lot of Transformers.
I like.
That's the only thing he got back then, Joe, didn't
Was it Unicron or Omnicron?
Well, you
You once
you
called
called
him Omnicron, but we called him Unicron.
Wow, I'm probably there.
It's also herbs because there's an H in it.
Well, they also call it aluminium.
It might have been different where I was, but well, apparently it's Omnicron to me.
I would say no.
Negative.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't vote for. I can't vote for.
Hash browns.
Well, it's already 3 now.
It's
It's his choice now.
It's his choice.
What's the count at? What do we got? Recap what
We
we
got
have.
7. Lex Luthor, Apocalypse, Magneto,
No,
Green
we're at
Goblin,
6.
Joker, Doomsday, and Ultron.
Yeah, we're down. Yeah, we're down to 7.
It's 7, guys.
Yeah, we're at 7. I'm putting up a vote for number 8. And this one I have to talk about a little bit. And Rook, you might need to help me out with the name because I can't really remember his name. Thor, God Bomb.
Loki.
No. God Bomb. What was his name? Gror. Okay.
All right, we're gonna have to educate you gentlemen on this character.
No, on the basis of I have no idea who you're
Hold
talking
on. Give me
That's a
give me
no
my
as well.
30
That's
seconds.
Give Hash Browns his time. Let him talk.
A chance to say
Give
yes
me
to
30
No, I
seconds.
have no clue.
No. We reveal the name and then we go around.
Okay.
that. So you get 30 seconds to change our minds.
Wait, his name was Roar?
Yeah, like Noir.
Like
All right, go ahead. Say your nose and then we'll talk.
Okay, they all say no. Gror is the God Killer.
The God Butcher.
The storyline is he...
Kratos.
No.
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 Okay, allow me because Billy is tongue-tied. Okay, this character comes from a world where the gods have forgotten him. So he then becomes empowered. He becomes empowered with this almost evil
need for gay
entity
sex.
that allows him to go forth and travel forward in time
To have gay
becoming.
sex.
He's immortal. He slaughters gods of every world across the universe.
He's evil
He
Booster
is-
Gold.
He
has an
slaughters his
incredible
way
height
across time and then he gets to a point where he slaughters the gods of time themselves and then goes back in time to create a world unto his own where he can kill every single god
Called
ever
Weirton.
created. Now you're talking about a guy that's not killing individual worlds. He's not killing individual civilizations. He's destroying
Killing my
every
interest.
civilization. Every single civilization, every single bit of creation ever. This character is possibly one of the most amazingly written villains. He's brilliantly written. He devastates anyone that comes before him.
Okay, yes.
It takes
what's your
three Thors.
So how do you spell
Three
that?
incarnations of Thor to kill him.
Yeah, how do you spell that name?
Was it Roar?
G-R-O-G.
Okay,
I believe
yes.
it.
Yes, I vote yes.
That's Watch.
So that's Grudge.
Just write him down as the God Butcher.
Yeah.
I'm going for
I mean, if you get the title, The God Butcher, come on.
All right, so it's my turn.
passion that came
We're in
with speed.
the home stretch now. We're in the last 8. When I think of villains, I try to look at that overflowing sort of just ridiculousness of your whole persona. Like, how do you get more evil than the Red Skull?
Really?
Yes.
Alright, look, seriously. Throughout time, there's never been anybody more evil than the fucking Nazis, and the Red Skull's a fucking Nazi.
Yeah.
If anybody knows about Nazi evil, it's my family.
Unanimously, yes. I don't even want to hear what anybody else says. I tell you, you say yes.
My favorite incarnation of the Red Skull is the one where he's like wearing Captain America's was it like Old Man Logan or some shit, like terrible comic but like great scene with the Red Skull just be like
Actually, one of my favorite incarnations of Red Skull was in the Ultimate books, where the Red Skull ended up being Captain America's son. Brilliantly written piece.
I'm my own grandpa.
well so Red Skull unanimously in
Yeah.
Cameron.
Rook would know him more than anybody. I think Matt knows him very well, and maybe Hash Browns. Negan from The Walking Dead, the leader of the Saviors, the murderer of Glenn.
Rook, take him to Pound Town.
Alright, seriously, you want to vote Negan in?
Just splash Rook in a whole lot
Look,
of people.
Negan is a brilliantly written character as far as his sick, psychotic...
Yeah, he's fucking a maniac, yeah.
Problem is that Negan actually truly believes he's doing the right thing. Negan, in his mind, is the hero.
And you can't be
Negan is nothing more than a baseline human with a baseball bat covered in barbed wire. Negan is an ECW character.
Sabu.
Done. That's all I have to say. Negan's an ECW character.
No,
really?
Dano,
No.
what do you have to say?
I actually don't know the history of the character, so I'm gonna have to pass and say no.
I'm gonna say no, just on the basis of the Messiah complex and the inability to be a world ender. Maybe he could do a lot of damage with his cronies around that area, and I think that when you talk about like a post-apocalyptic scenario, it's he who controls the most skulls, controls the most power. And I think you could literally have a band of midgets, as long as they got some sort of gun or something like that, they'll be able to help take care of your small patch of land. But like when you're talking about Red Skull and you look at the Old Man Logan comic and you're like, oh well, if superheroes ruled the world and they conquered their own individual areas, but like nobody would really want to fuck with the Hulk, nobody really wants to fuck with Red Skull, you know, and then you got these nomad lands in between, which are controlled by the supervillain of the month. And I just don't see Negan as being that kind of endgame scenario guy, so I have to absolutely say no.
Okay, well then allow me to try to make my case for Negan.
Go ahead.
Lex Luthor believed that he was doing what was right by getting rid of Superman, because that would be one less super amazing being in the world.
Yeah, but Rick ain't Superman.
But if you want to also talk about a god complex, Luthor's got it. Magneto has it. Believing that what they're doing is correct. Believing what they're doing.
A 70-foot cock in the middle of New York City. Be like, oh, Luthor's so innovative.
And Negan has a baseball bat covered in barbed wire and a sadistic,
so did Cactus Jack.
view on reality. I mean,
that's Cactus Jack, and Cactus Jack got his ass kicked all the time.
you know what? I will just defer on this because there is no way to make a compelling argument for Negan. I mean, if we're looking at the most sadistic character,
let me make you understand. Yes, is Negan a great character? Does Negan make the governor look like a pussy? Yes. Okay.
I would like
the
to see
governor.
the TV
The governor
show
was some
incarnation of
asshole collecting heads in fish tanks. Negan is some asshole collecting communities. In
I'd like to
fish
start
tanks.
an online petition right now for Tom Sizemore for Negan.
But as far as if we're gonna put up a character that is seriously gonna be able to contend against those that we've put up already,
Magneto would
Negan
just crush his
cannot
skull.
do it. He can't.
So that's a no on Negan. Rook, who's your guy?
You know, we've gotten to the point now where we've pulled out the aces in our sleeves. We've created such a
Scrape your barrel,
high
baby.
bar to jump over. But I'm still going to bring him up because he's a fantastic character. He's done so much throughout time. I'm going to pull Dr. Doom out.
That was going to be my next one. So
That's a yes.
You know what? Yes, that's a yes.
Yeah, Dr. Doom, yes.
Easily yes.
I mean, come on, Doom is in his name.
Dano.
Was it Clayface?
Since that's a unanimous yes for Dr. Doom, there's not really even any necessity to discuss it. Dano.
Yeah, my next one is Clayface.
No.
No?
No.
Clayface was good because not only could he mimic how they looked, he could mimic their
He
powers.
could also mimic pottery.
That is a very good point. He makes a very lovely vase.
The shitty ashtray like your kindergartner made it. No.
No.
Yes?
Yeah, that's a yes for me.
You know, Clayface is a fantastic character. He's a classic character. But overall, you know what I think of with Clayface?
Patrick
Is-
Swayze.
No, not Patrick Swayze. It's just this simple. He's so simple to defeat. He really is.
Yeah.
Drive his ass out.
You defeat him by.
You know what? I
fire
changed
or
my
ice.
vote to a no.
I have to say no. I'm sorry.
That's a unanimous no for Clayface.
Probably none of
Hash
them
browns.
Alright, well, we argued the fact that, Doomsday, beat Superman. Well, let's go with an evil Superman. General Zod.
Ooh, that was going to be my next one. I say yes. Immediately yes.
I mean, he would be able to compete under a yellow sun, of course.
Yes,
know,
yes, because he's a
because of
Kryptonian general.
Superman.
Okay, but you're not talking about him fighting Superman. You're talking about him fighting other
Yeah.
supervillains.
But for the same exact reason, you disqualified Galactus. And in that same breath, I have to say, no.
You make a valid point there. You make a very valid point there. Okay, he's not a finisher. He's
Yes,
never
sir.
he's never done the job all the way through. But he's a classic character.
So is
He's-
Galactus.
He's someone of power who has put Superman to his paces. Where at this point, you make the Galactus argument. At this point, Galactus shows up, and the Fantastic Four show up and go, done. It's like they're hitting the mute button on the remote when Galactus shows up these days. General Zod shows up, and it's
you
a
throw
battle.
It is a
battle.
cellophane shield at him.
You're thinking the movies.
Yeah, I know,
You
but,
you can't think
no.
the movies here. Zod shows up, and Superman has a fight on his hands.
So it's a yes.
Galactus shows up, and the Fantastic Four come out with the ultimate nullifier and go, change channel, thank you, good night.
So that's yes.
I go yes.
That's a yes in.
As do I, yeah.
All right. So then that makes it my turn. You know, I look at the villains that are on the list, and I'm really unimpressed with the level of just why. Like, she shows up and your day is just immediately ruined, and just like, son of a bitch. Like, couldn't it just be an Aquaman villain day? Couldn't it just be the Black Mantis or like Chitara or some shit? Like, just give me Mumra or something, man. Like, fucking, why does Darkseid gotta show up?
Dark side.
Darkseid.
Side, seed, whatever. Semantics here.
So, I'm gonna go Darkseid. The silence is deafening.
Well, Darkseid was the bringer of apocalypse.
The apocalypse is his
He's
planet.
the Lord of Apocalypse.
Yeah.
He lives on a planet that is pretty much just hell. And when he shows up to your world, he's pretty much just there. Like, oh, I am the DC-verse Donald Trump. And I'm here to take over your planet, turn it into pretty much just a worthless pile of rock, and just add you to my collection of otherwise ruled universes. Darkseid is the guy that when he shows up, Superman says, son of a bitch, today's going to be a long day. You know, he's the guy who corrupts the incorruptible. He's the guy that comes through, and he's just the apocalypse of the DC-verse. And I have to say that that's Darkseid.
We're waiting for Cameron here.
Yeah.
I would have to say it's a yes to Darkseid, because Darkseid, he's the handler of Apocalypse. He's the one that says, hey, put the boots to him, medium style. So, yes, the handler of Apocalypse, absolutely.
Brilliantly placed, an amazing character. His Omega beams can follow you wherever your ass goes.
The son of a bitch.
How
Just
can
leave
you
me
say
alone,
no?
cocksucker.
How can you say no to that?
I find extreme gratification when Rook actually likes something that I bring up.
It's like
Cameron.
compliments me in magic.
So
Darkseid is
that's
in.
obviously yes for Darkseid, so he is in. You know, we've been talking all the Marvel and all the DC, and we had the one failed attempt at getting some other comic book distributor
It was
in
two
there.
failed attempts because the governor also failed.
I'm going to say one's completely off the wall. Shredder.
Oh wow! I knew that.
TV show villain, no. TV show or movie.
Listen, if we're going to talk about the comic book Shredder, we have to talk about the fact that you're not looking at a human. He's not human. He is an alien entity inside of a robotic machine. Shredder is a evil, maniacal, world-conquering villain.
We're talking about something else here. You're not talking about Shredder.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Shredder?
That's the comic book version that you elected.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm about half a bottle of Maker's Mark down here.
Okay, you're talking about a character that is otherworldly, powered by alien technology,
Horribly drawn.
terribly drawn. I will bitch slap the hell out of you.
Bitch slapped the hell out of me. That shit sucked.
Oh, you have no taste.
I have no taste.
All your taste is in your mouth, and I'm about to slap it out of you. Okay, Shredder.
Easy there, Curly.
Shredder is a great character, and I'm gonna vote yes.
Comic book version.
Rook owns multiple paddles. I just want to put that out there. You saying no?
I'm saying no to the comic
That's
book
3
version,
no's
yeah.
down. I'm sorry, that's no, yes, yes, no.
No.
What do you say?
No.
No wait.
Mr.
It
Hash
was no's across the board,
that's
wasn't
true,
it?
Yeah, no. It's,
You said yes, right?
I did
yes,
say
yes,
yes.
no, so it's all on
It's all on Billy now.
Sounds. Hash Brown Town. Take it to the
I just want to say this is actually a lot of stress because you guys are, whatever is it's high.
You are Simon
You
Cowell.
signed up for this role specifically when we were talking to you about
Actually, I don't think he signed up for it.
No, we kind of just volunteered him for it.
Same thing.
So I'm always faced with very difficult options. However, when I look at the comic book Shredder and what he did to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and what he did to half the universe during that age, I say yes. He was a powerhouse. Thank you. The television shows and movies, Shredder? No.
He's a joke. Come on, you don't like Kevin Nash and Secret
But in
News?
comics, he's a
I
god.
like him, but in compared to the comics, completely different story.
Excellent. Shredder is through. Rook, you're up. What are we at now?
right.
We're at 9?
How many do we have now?
13.
12.
13.
We're on
13.
13.
Okay.
We have 13 selections.
I'm pulling this one out because he's not only is he a great villain, but he has produced other great villains. Without him, you would not see the psychosis of Carnage, of Toxin,
Venom.
I know he's going Venom.
That was my next pick.
Let's give it up to Venom.
That's a Dano yes. That's a me yes. That's a me yes. Venom is on the list. Dano, what do you say?
Now, if it comes down to it, and we get to 16, we're going to go around and we're going to see if anybody's got anybody that can potentially compete.
Trump cards.
Because, just like the NCAA tournament, it's not just 64 teams.
Villanova's coming, baby!
It's 69 teams, and the 16 seed has to play a play-in game in order to get that. So if we come up with 17, we can have a play-in game. So once we hit 16, we'll go around the table. If there's anybody, you just spout out a name. And if you spout out that name and anybody goes, ooh, then we'll go around, we'll do a quick vote on it, and we'll get that in. That way, so we do the playing game, and when we rank everything, we'll take it into consideration. We'll match the two of them up in order to put somebody into the dance.
My next choice is Dr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze.
No.
Freeze.
No. No, I totally...
Sorry, now.
Asylum, Dr. Freeze?
Yes.
Arkham Asylum, Dr. Freeze, we talked video game?
When
Yes.
we're talking video, I'm just throwing that one out there real quick, just for my little...
No, it's okay. I've already got my video game list going.
Digging down, I know we keep hitting Marvel DC, but I'm sorry they just come up with some of the greatest villains ever. I want the Dark Phoenix. Power is just unknown. She hasn't reached her full potential.
I'm going to say no, because it's hinged on a protagonist, and that the characters are always in conflict with good or bad. So as far as super villain goes, I don't consider Dark Phoenix a super villain. So I'm going to say no.
I say yes.
I find it hard to believe that you don't see the Dark Phoenix as a villain. I mean, the Dark Phoenix is
It's the conflict scenario that I draw the parallel with.
okay.
Whereas all the other villains are convincingly evil, I don't find her to ever be just.
I understand what you're saying, but the Phoenix entity wants nothing more than to watch the world burn. The Phoenix entity wants to destroy worlds as it works its way throughout the universe in its cycle of however many years, like a comet. The Phoenix entity is a brilliant, evil concept, and when it came back around this time, and it didn't have Jean Grey to infect, instead it infected Cyclops, Colossus, the White Queen, and a couple of other characters. It had nothing more interesting to do than to try and cause havoc, chaos, mayhem, and destroy the Earth again. I vote yes.
What's it going up to now?
It's 2-1.
2-1.
Dead silence while the
Silence doesn't work on the radio.
I know, right?
Taking forever to make
I know, right?
his decision.
I wish you could see. He's stroking the non-existent beard right now.
That is true. This 5 o'clock isn't coming in yet.
So long it's taking.
It's
him to
4:57.
All right. I say yeah.
decide. Dark Phoenix is in.
Dark Phoenix is in.
Then, for the exact same breath, I say Parallax, the Hal Jordan version.
Ooh.
You really want to go Parallax, the Hal Jordan version, or just Parallax entirety?
The specific version of Hal Jordan, where he controlled the universe and 10 goddamn rings.
See, you know what? See, me and him have been having this debate for a couple of weeks in the house, and I've gone back and forth. If it's just Parallax himself, I would say no, for the same reason of Galactus. But being that it's Hal Jordan, being that Hal Jordan has the 10 rings, being that he controls everything. I would say yes.
All right. Wow.
I mean, come on. They wrote an entire storyline of Hal Jordan.
Corrupting the incorruptible.
Yes.
Turning him into
Corrupting the
universe
incorruptible
destroyer.
pussy-ass bitch that Hal Jordan is. Okay? You have to understand, I come from the angle where
Jean Grey, thank you very little.
Okay. Hal Jordan... Alright.
Oh, let's talk about the quintessential mindfuck that is Jean Grey's control factor.
Okay. Yeah, but you're also talking about Hal Jordan. Hal Jordan's a punk-ass bitch in my line. Because you're talking to the guy that runs around cosplaying as Guy Gardner, the one true Earth Green Lantern.
That's because he's a ginger, folks.
I won't debate the fact that I'm a ginger, so is Guy Gardner.
Irish, and he's intoxicated.
Perfection is hard to achieve, okay?
Rook just wishes it was
DC
two Green Lanterns.
They think achieve perfection with Guy Gardner. What more can I say? Hal Jordan still is a punk-ass bitch.
He has a Guy Gardner action figure.
And Parallax Hal Jordan...
It's got the
Is definitely destructive. Definitely destructive. Ultimately destructive? I don't know. But enough to make me say yes.
Oh, he's through.
How do you like that? Didn't think I was going to go there, did you?
I'm very surprised.
I'm gonna argue against the fact, and then I'm gonna say yes.
No, I'm just saying, do I think he has enough power to beat out some of our other guys in the lineup? No. But he deserves to be there.
Okay, so here we're going to go into the round-robin version. You're going to throw up a guy and see if anybody has any interest in trying to fight to get him on the list. We could probably go through this a few rounds. I don't see any reason why not to.
Yeah, we
So,
can.
Dan, do you have somebody you want to fight for?
Not specifically, actually.
Billy.
Just like the fucking British.
I just kind of want to throw out Malekith out there, just even if he gets an honorable
Ooh,
mention.
Malekith the Curse?
Yes.
No.
No. I just want to throw him out there.
Loki.
No.
Comic book Loki compared to movie Loki, he's a bitch.
No.
There's a spot for Loki, and it's not in comics.
It's not in comics. It's definitely in the movie.
Yeah.
Not in the comics.
Okay. Ra's al Ghul.
Goes to a vote.
Goes to a vote. Quick vote. No
Yes,
fighting
no,
about
yes.
it. This will be the man who is the away team in the play-in game against the number 16 seed to get
Yes.
to be the 16 seed.
I say yes.
No.
Did you say yes?
Yes.
Then it's a yes.
Well, I brought him up, so yes.
Yeah.
Ra's al Ghul is in.
Ra's al Ghul's in.
See, I'm surprised.
Rook, do you have a name?
Thanos.
I say yes. No,
Wow,
yes.
silence is a horrible thing on radio,
Yeah,
guys.
it's one of those. You got it.
It's more or less just the thinking about it.
Yeah, you have to thought process it
Do
for a
I
second.
want Thanos on this list? Yes. But that means that one of the ones that we have come up with has to come off. And that...
I think Shredder could come off for Thanos.
Yeah,
you know what? Shredder can come off for Thanos.
You know what?
Venom can come off for Thanos.
You know what?
And Venom is
I
one
brought
that I
up-
threw up there.
I brought up
Thanos
Shredder,
is a great character.
but you know,
So that's
as
something
big
that's
as
on
he
the
is,
list now.
as big as he is, I forgot about.
So we're
Thanos.
gonna have to fight some guys
All right,
on and off
you know
the
what?
list.
Because I nominated him. Let's remove Shredder from the list, and let's put Thanos in his place.
Okay.
And we'll stick with the 17 that we've got, because
We're
it's a
still
very
gonna go
good
around.
list.
I think there's some other names that need to be said.
Like who? Say it.
Carnage.
Byproduct of Venom.
Byproduct of Venom. Venom's
His
already on the
impact
list.
is already.
No. I disagree.
In comparison of Carnage and Venom, Venom outwits him every time.
Black Adam.
Black Adam, fantastic character. I have to give you that. Who would he replace, though?
I could see a couple guys on here that I would like to see him out, but I got voted out.
I can't
Alright.
see him beating Parallax.
No.
No.
No, I can't see Black
And if he's
Adam
going
beating
for
Parallax.
16,
Who else do we have on the list that Black Adam could replace?
Green Goblin.
Yes, I agree. And Green Goblin was my nomination, so I will put Black Adam in his place.
Okay.
Alright, so...
That's it, isn't it?
No.
Go more.
Bane.
Bane, no. No. I'm sorry,
My
but
personal
no.
favorite amongst the comic book characters. Obviously not my choice in the movies, but comic book character, he was amazing, but no, I don't see him.
No, I can't see Bane replacing anyone on
Does
this
anybody
list.
have anybody else they'd like to mention?
Cameron, do you have anybody that you can throw in?
Bizarro.
No.
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 Okay.
So that makes the list as follows: Lex Luthor, Apocalypse, Magneto, Black Adam, Joker, Doomsday, Ultron, Grogue,
Was it Grohl?
It's
Grohl.
Grog.
Just say the God Butcher.
The God Butcher.
Red Skull, Doctor Doom, General Zod, Darkseid, Thanos, Venom, Dark Phoenix, and Parallax. So Ra's al Ghul is the one sitting on the fence. Is Ra's al Ghul comparable to any of these other guys? I say nay.
I can say with
Who are you
perfect
replacing?
certainty that the play-in matchup for the number 16 seed will be Shredder versus Ra's al Ghul.
Shredder's already gone.
Shredder's already
Oh
gone.
yeah, that's right. We
Shredder's been replaced.
Who do you replace
know what?
Ra's al Ghul with?
All right, here. Let me make this argument because Billy and I were the ones that argued for the God Butcher. Okay. Ra's al Ghul versus the God Butcher. You're talking about a newly created character versus someone over time who has affected the storyline over and over again. Can you really, in good conscience, put the God Butcher over Ra's al Ghul? While he's a great, brilliantly written character, is the God Butcher a greater villain than Ra's al Ghul?
And even though I didn't fight very vehemently for it, I kind of got a little tongue-tied. I blame it on the liquor.
Blame it on the goose.
I would have to pick Ra's al Ghul over the God Butcher on the list just for his impact.
From your description, I'd have to say absolutely not. A guy
Really?
who killed gods. Certainly more comparable. That's how you got him on the list. Is he's over there killing gods, and Ra's al Ghul is just pretty much just fucking up Bruce Wayne's weekend. You know, I was like, oh, you slept with my daughter, and now you have a son.
All right, you know, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to play both ends of the fence here, and I'm going to let you gentlemen pick. Ra's al Ghul is immortal, so long as he has a Lazarus pit, where the God Butcher has actually killed the gods of time and has crossed the barriers of time to go back and slaughter the gods
To me, that's supervillain
from the
all
beginning
day.
of the world. So,
Yeah, no Ra's al Ghul on that.
I have a choice between the two.
so we're going to put the God Butcher over Ra's al Ghul.
I think so.
Okay.
All right, now comes to a segment that we like to call our shameless One Direction tag fodder. It's called Who Has Harry Styles Banged?
And just for a little bit of clarification, basically this is to tag One Direction in the podcast so we get more listeners. This is just shameless plugging to just get the hit count up there. Who hasn't Harry banged?
Our nomination for this segment of Who Has Harry Styles Banged is Taylor Swift. Huh?
Oh yeah, he did. He totally did. He banged her, no doubt.
Selena Gomez.
No, it's just Taylor Swift.
No, it's just Taylor Swift.
Or,
It's a selection that we have to debate.
Hey, I'm just going to take a guess. Seriously, has he not possibly banged Selena Gomez?
No, because Selena Gomez likes lesbians, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Miley
because
Cyrus.
she
I mean,
dated
Justin Bieber.
Justin Bieber.
Miley Bieber.
Miley Bieber.
So, or,
I don't know.
Huh?
Tina, what say you? Or,
I was like,
who has Harry Styles banged? Taylor Swift. And so to our next segment, this is called Jerk Offs on the News. We got some subjects for you to talk about. The first subject is Governor Christie. He's the governor of New Jersey. He shut down the GW, the George Washington Bridge, because a guy decided that he didn't want to support him in his presidential run. Is it funny or not?
Oh, I think it's hilarious that he was keeping people in New Jersey when obviously they want to fucking leave.
Who doesn't want to leave New Jersey? I mean, seriously, the Statue of Liberty faces the other way, for fuck's sake.
I've lived in New Jersey and I find it to be a terrible shithole, and I find it absolutely hilarious that he would trap people in hell.
Jersey Shore.
That is true.
Jersey Shore can kiss my ass.
Yeah.
Speaking of Jersey Shore and infected people, Kesha has checked herself into rehab. Is anyone surprised it's for an eating disorder?
Absolutely. It should have been heroin.
Seriously, the first thing I thought of was a sex addiction.
Alcohol.
I wish it was a sex
something
addiction.
about that. You know? I mean, you ever watched her show? She's trying to bang every guy that walks
She
past
drank
her.
piss on her reality show.
No.
I'm very surprised that's the most unsanitary thing she's had in her mouth.
And that also comes from a guy who actually likes her music. I'm sorry, fuck you guys.
Give me your man card now.
Fuck you. I like Kesha's music. Kiss my ass.
And heterosexuality with that.
Do you keep your glitter in your sock drawer?
Right next to my Lady Gaga albums.
And your spanking paddles. So then the last one is the Super Bowl commercial previews. Are they a good thing, or are they just stupid as fucking?
See, I actually have quite the opinion on the Super Bowl previews. In some ways, they are necessary. 2 years ago, Volkswagen acquired the rights to use Star Wars music and Star Wars characters in their commercial, and they did release the Super Bowl preview where it was the dogs barking the Imperial March.
Yes.
And that was pretty awesome, and it ended up leading to the Star Wars kid who had the heart difficulties and ended up getting a transplant with the money made from that commercial. So, in a sense, yes, but I don't want to see John Stamos eating yogurt with Bob Saget and Dave Coulier for 15 seconds to tell me to tune into the Super Bowl, because, by the way, I'm going to do that anyway.
I want Alanis Morissette in that commercial.
Isn't it ironic?
How brilliant would that be?
And finally, I guess I would like to say that everybody has an agenda. So you have a deep, dark-seated thing that you really want to talk about. Rook, what's your agenda?
My agenda is to make you all listen to more Kesha and Lady Gaga.
What is your agenda?
I have none.
Hash Brown, what is your agenda?
I just want to watch the world burn.
Cameron, what is your agenda?
I've made enough members of the Wayne family.
And I guess my agenda is that if you ain't down with Media Rehab, we got 2 words for you.
Suck it! And that concludes Media Rehab. We want to give a special thanks to Rook, Hash Browns, Dano, who sat in with us. And we also want to thank all of you who are going to end up listening to this. You know, without you, we won't continue to do shows. You can reach us with any kind of comments, concerns. If you don't agree with something we did during that superhero bracket, let us know. The email address is MediaRehabMC@gmail.com. That's MEDIAREHABMC@gmail.com.
And remember, the next time you're getting a blowjob, yeah, Jeets.
Yeah, Jeets.